Hey, what's up, listener? Thanks for pressing play on this episode of the Jock and Nerd podcast. We give you our thoughts on the most ambitious Marvel Cinematic Universe movie to date, Avengers Infinity War. After 10 years and 18 movies, does it deliver the goods? You will find out as we geek out over the superhero movie event of the year. Oh, and we talk about the Venom trailer. All in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Saturday, April 28th, 2018.
Check one. All right. This is really fans out there. Let's give it up. We jockin', we nerdin'. We funny, disturbing. We jockin', we nerdin'. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah. We jockin', we nerdin'. We funny, disturbing. Oh yeah. I'm jockin', we nerdin'. We spoiler alert.
Oh, hello, listener. What's up? Thanks for tuning in and welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
And he's the Nerd.
And he's the Rugs, good earth, a rug boy. How you doing?
Kneel before Thanos.
That's right. Thanos deserves your respect. The Mad Titan is finally here, guys.
Know that when you die today, you are dying an honorable death because you are now all children of Thanos, even in death.
I hope they remember you.
Whoa.
Wow.
I'm quoting the fucking Ebony Maw.
Oh, that's Ebony Maw. Dude.
When he's just like, you guys are all living great lives now. Your inconsequential lives are now meaningful because you are dying as the children of Thanos.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I like his voice.
His voice is great.
What are we talking about today?
Listen, this is one of the weeks that I am so excited Geek Boner to have a podcast. Let me tell you, the road to Infinity War has finally reached its first stop. If you're a new listener, this is the show where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. And boy, do we have a review for you today. Of course, we will be reviewing Marvel's latest and greatest Avengers Infinity War. And before that, though, we have to discuss real quick this Venom trailer, because I didn't think during the week leading up to Avengers Infinity War, I would be all obsessed with a fucking trailer for Venom. It was.
Are you really obsessed with it?
Obsessed?
Yeah, I'm just all like confused, conflicted.
Explain, please.
Just because I couldn't stop thinking about what I saw in this trailer and what they're trying to do and whether I liked it or I didn't like it or what's going to happen. I love Venom. Look, who doesn't love Venom? It's a huge thing to have a whole Venom movie and the balls of them to release this trailer on the week of Avengers Infinity War is crazy. Make sure you visit the website, jockandnerd.com, for all the links to everything so you can subscribe to the show and get it every week right to your pocket, to your app. Will buzz your pocket. Rug Boy will be in your pants. Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want that? But before we begin, we got some free stuff to give away still. We are giving our lovely listeners, thanks to Stitcher, a free month of Stitcher Premium, which is Stitcher's premium content app where you can listen to Marvel's first audio drama podcast, Wolverine the Long Night. 8 episodes in, there's 2 more left. It's heading to some crazy, awesome conclusion. It's really good. Just visit Stitcher.com/premium. Use promo code NERD. Do not type in any other letters except for NERD. And you'll get 1 free month. Normally $4.99, but for you, listener, free.
Free as fuck.
Free as fuck. Also, there's 1 week left to enter in our very first Jock and Nerd podcast t-shirt giveaway. Jock and Nerd. Oh, shit. Anthony, are you excited for this?
I'm pumped.
Yeah, me too.
I thought so.
So is Bilotti.
I thought so.
He's right along for the ride.
I didn't know Bilotti was on this show.
That's weird. He's not even on the show, but he's very excited.
He just chimed in. He called in on the 800 line and said he's me too.
Here's what you got to do. If you are listening to this before May 6th, there is still time. Visit jockandnerd.com/giveaway for the multiple ways to get many entries. It'll be very exciting. And if this one goes good, this is kind of like a beta test. If this one goes good, we may do a bunch more of these giveaways in the future because it's a lot of fun. Yeah, and now it's out there in the public, in the social media. So keep getting entries. And one last thing before we get to the news, I just want to say...
Tell a friend.
Tell a friend?
Oh, no.
No, that's at the end.
Well, you can do that now, too.
Actually, you can share this episode right now. Whatever podcast app you're listening in has those 3 little dots. It's got a button to share to social media. Just click it. Click it, hit it. Tell everyone you're listening to this.
Call the Howard Stern Show.
Yeah.
Let's make this the new Baba
Isn't that
Booey.
the greatest advice ever?
Call them Howard Stern. We're making Jock and
Let's
Nerd
make this viral, guys.
the new Baba
It's
Booey.
cool that you guys are giving us money on Patreon and all, but
But you know,
what you really got to do is you got to go out there and tell a friend. Is
Tell
that
your
not
mom.
is that not the bit right now?
that is not the bit.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Save that for the end.
Shit.
The bit is
You should just be doing Rug Boy the whole time. I'll do Anthony. I'm pumped.
Oh, me too.
It's a pretty good rug boy voice, Anthony. No, real quick, I just want to shout out and say thank you to Ellie and Zenger from Zeng This Podcast and Jason Mumert from The Voice from the Underground for having the nerd on their recent episodes. I sat in on The Voice from the Underground talking about Infinity War. We went over a bunch of theories. And then I sent some audio to Zeng This where they did their 2017 Zengi Awards. Links to both of these episodes in the show notes. And those are 2 great pop culture podcasts that you should check out. Pop culture and politics in the case of Voice from the Underground. Okay, let's get to the news real quick so we can get to Avengers.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
You want to get in touch with the show, listener? You know what to do. Visit jockandnerd.com/contact for our Twitter account, for our Facebook page. You can send us your voice, and you can join our amazing Facebook group called the Jock and Nerd Nation. Jock and Nerd, which is an exclusive closed group just for our listeners. It's where all our listeners hang out. I got to welcome new listeners and group members: Joshua Gibson, Jose Ibarra, and this was a good one. Michifusa Adriana Negron. Jock and Nerd.
Whoa.
It's quite a name. Thank you
It's
for
a mouthful.
That's a mouthful. I love it. Beautiful name. Michifusa Adriana Negron. Josh Gibson said, I'm a brand new listener, and let me just say, holy fuck, Knuckles.
Oh, shit.
To which I was like, is this a compliment? And he said it is. So good. Thank you.
He's been commenting.
Yeah, Josh Gibson came in full force fighting the show, made himself known, like he followed us everywhere. He followed me on Facebook. I was like, damn, this dude's all in. I love it. I love the enthusiasm. And Jose Ibarra said, fairly new subscriber to the podcast. Great work, guys. Glad to join the group. Hopefully you don't flood my inbox with weird porn spam. Normal porn is fine, though. Jock and Nerd.
We're gonna send you the porn version of Infinity War.
Yes, which is the
Titty War.
the
I don't know.
infant-
something
What
like
we'll send you is the Jock and Nerd yearly calendar where you got me, Rug Boy, and Imran posed in like different authoritative outfits, suggestively.
I thought we just did that for our shits and giggles for ourselves.
We should do a calendar where we do
It
famous
was
movie
until
posters.
I just brought that out now. We should do like a calendar
Right.
where it's just like us suggestively posing.
Or
Okay.
we recreate superhero movie posters like real bad and cheesy and like
I just
They're all
want Imran
terrible
being like
ideas.
touching the photo where he's touching God naked.
oh yes
What is that painting?
from
The creation
Michelangelo.
of Adam.
yeah.
Yes, I could do
Yes.
that. I could do that for my
With his
listeners.
penis.
Listen, you give us enough money on the Patreon, I will take all my clothes off. It's not hard. It's not hard to get me to take my clothes off. But listen, Jose, I think will fit right into this podcast with that comment. Finally, shout out to David Zika. He ran a 5K this morning
And wearing our fucking shirt.
in a green Jock and Nerd podcast shirt. Thank you so much. That is awesome. All the runners walking by go, what the fuck is that on his shirt? So
They're probably all running by and they're like, look at that amazing podcast. I bet those guys are great to listen to.
I believe he caused many people to run into
I'm going
trees.
to pull out my phone as I'm running and have subscribed right now. That's probably what happened.
I'm gonna pull out something.
Look at that man's face. Why does he dye his hair white?
I don't dye my hair white. It's not.
you
That's
don't?
no. Okay. And then wait. Last thing. Lisa Morrison watched Infinity War in 4DX. Super jealous. I have yet to watch a movie in the 4DX. Kevin Smith
yeah, I wanna
raves
do
about
that
it. I
too.
want to do it. I don't know where that theater is around here.
There's
We'll
one
find
at the
one.
Movie Co. in Rosemont.
Oh, is that 4DX legit 4DX?
I thought that maybe not. I don't know. I have to look at it.
Yeah, we'd have to find it. I think it's in
Yeah,
Gurney. Anyways,
we should do a 40X.
we should do a 4DX
Not together because I don't like you in public.
Well, we don't have to sit next to each other. So we don't actually.
Two buffer seat.
We're the same person. No one has ever seen us in the same place at the same time.
Not true. There's pictures of us. Rug Boy, on the other hand, no one has actually seen him. He could be just one of us with
That's
a
a good
finger up
point.
someone slack hole.
That's a good point, Ruggs. Ruggs,
Yeah, it's a lot of post-production work.
Ruggs, if you had to pick one of us, the Jock or Nerd, to have a hand up your slack hole, who would you pick? I'm putting you on the spot.
I know your hand's a lot dirtier, probably. So I would say Anthony. Anthony.
He picks Anthony.
Oh.
All right, good choice,
Yeah,
Anthony.
because his hand at least probably smells like vagina.
Imran's also got like sausage fingers, so like you're not gonna be able to get the whole hand up there.
I disagree. I have very long, dainty artist fingers suitable for
does.
arts and playing guitar.
I've had
and the piano.
Imran's hand up my ass already.
Yes.
So it's like, I know what it feels like.
My
so
fingers have been in his
I'm looking
mouth.
for something new.
Yeah, and they've also
Yeah.
been in his mouth, so
I
he knows.
like to imagine, Imran, that your fingers are so fat that you're just typing on the keyboard and you hit 3 letters at once all the time.
like mashing. I'm just mashing buttons. I have a special oversized keyboard
Yeah.
that I had to buy at the store. Okay, enough of this bullshit.
Talking nerd.
You had to learn how to hide in plain sight. I'm pretty good at it. But you suck. Whoever you are.
I work at the Life Foundation, and I need your help. We found something. We call them symbiotes. Carlton Drake believes that the union between human and symbiote is the key to our evolution.
Dude, this Venom trailer, like I said, who would have thought Sony would release this fucking Venom trailer? But I think what happened, it was CinemaCon. It got leaked, and they were like, fuck it. We have to release this now. The fucking thing got leaked, and it's a trailer where
Why are you surprised about this?
Yeah, actually, I would disagree with that.
Yeah.
I think they knew that
long
everyone was
overdue.
hyped up about Infinity War, and it's
Yeah.
like, this is the best time to release something because everyone's super into comics right now, and if we release something with Marvel attached to it,
Yeah.
even if it's in association only,
I
people are going
see.
to be like, oh, this is awesome.
Well, here's why I think it wasn't. You guys think it was planned? Here's why I think it wasn't
planned.
Here's why I think it wasn't planned. And what confirmed it is the trailers that they showed before Avengers when I watched, they showed the first short teaser. So clearly, this was not planned. Otherwise,
No.
the studios, the movie theaters would have had this trailer queued up, ready to go. And
No, the theater I went to showed.
they showed the long one?
They showed this one.
Really?
I went to 2 different
it.
theaters, and they
That-
showed this trailer.
That blows my theory out the water.
Wrong again, Imran.
Anywho, what did you guys think of what we saw in this trailer? There's a
got
lot.
thoughts.
Yeah, let's. Anthony started off.
I know there was a lot of debate online about how Venom looked.
Yeah.
And I've said this in another chat that I'm in, but I think the way he looks is the least of the concerns I have for this movie. I don't
Interesting.
mind his look at all, actually.
Yeah.
For me, this trailer reminded me of like early 2000s superhero films
A little bit, yes.
where they're like related to the comics in name only.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we're just going to take this name
And
but
bastardize
everything
the
else,
fucking
but everything else is not going to be at all true to the comics because we just can't, we think comics are stupid, basically. So like, none of this seems like true to the origins. Like, if he's gonna be, I can't see how you can make this film and not have Spider-Man in it. Like, he looks the way he looks,
Yeah.
because of Spider-Man. And if you take that out,
yes.
that makes the character a completely different character.
And by proxy, all of his progeny bear a resemblance to Spider-Man as well.
Right.
Correct.
So what they're saying is that it's just inconsequential. Like they just look like this anyway.
Why would he look like this to begin with? You know, a lot of the questions I had after watching this was, will he have the white spider on his chest? Will he be shooting webs? You don't really see him doing any Spider-Man type things. I also think that shot of him at the end, like that may be the very end of the movie and all the Venom we get at the very end. And then the movie just fucking cuts to black.
No.
Well,
he does have to fight all these other symbiotes. So you see the kind of the creation of these multiple symbiotes.
This is my theory, and I'm probably wrong. So just because I haven't watched the trailer that many times.
Yeah.
But from what I see in the trailer, there's a woman, right, in the facility.
Yeah. Yep.
And then they cut to like Eddie Brock getting contaminated in some way and running out of the facility.
Correct.
Could that be Silk?
No, I think that's one of these symbiotes that from the lethal injection
But I'm
storyline.
saying, could that be Silk? And that's how the spider powers manifest.
Oh, like I don't know. That's even more
Because
confusing.
Peter
How-
Parker and
yeah.
they never went into the Peter Parker's origin at all in the new Marvel movies.
So for those that don't know,
So that they could have
Silk is the Dan Slott retconned girl that after the spider bit Peter the first time, it didn't die. It crawled away and bit this girl and she becomes Silk after being held captive. That is a fucking deep cut. I don't know. I think
That's
it's
a real
more likely
stretch.
that it's
I'm doing mental gymnastics.
I think-
I said
right,
I could be
right.
completely wrong, but there's a woman
yeah.
who seems to have dark hair.
But there's also these
In a
5
facility.
symbiotes.
Isn't that the woman that he finds in the trailer? He's like, "You suck."
That Jenny Slate? No, Jenny Slate is the one that kind of gets to him to blow the whistle on the Life Foundation.
There's so many things. Here,
There's so many
couple more.
Yeah.
What accent is Tom Hardy
Yes,
using in San
Hardy's-
Francisco?
I don't know. His accent is so weird. You could tell he's trying to not use his original accent. Like,
Well, no, he's an American, but
I don't know.
why does he go in like full like New York
Yeah.
sort of accent? But then it changes in
Well,
every scene of the trailer, and he's
it
living
does.
in San Francisco.
Well, that doesn't matter. You could have a New York accent
I know,
in San
but
Francisco.
but isn't? Do you think his accent's good?
No, it sounds weird. It could be. Well, Eddie
Like,
Brock is
you suck.
It's from the East Coast, moved to San Francisco, but this accent is weird, and I kind of don't buy that he's a journalist.
no.
like, at
Why
all.
is he a dirty journalist?
I don't know. I don't buy it for 1 second.
Well, we're generalizing what a journalist should look like, but I guess he just doesn't seem like he has that kind of intelligence.
Right? Exactly. He's
Well, I mean, but that's the thing. Like when Jessica Alba was cast as Sue Storm, like no one believed she was a scientist.
Right.
Like, there's like
All right.
not some of it's based on looks, but a lot of it's based on just how you portray yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
And she just doesn't like. He doesn't to me look like a fucking journalist.
I mean, sometimes I have. I won't. I'll say this for Infinity War. Sometimes I have a tough time with Mark Ruffalo as a scientist, but
I could see that he plays it a little bit goofy. Look, here's what I liked about this. I love how he's saying "we." Why would we do that? Like that. Like it's a really funny line after he takes out all those people. I felt like the use of the symbiote and what we saw was used well. The bike stunt was pretty cool.
I think the symbiote stuff looks terrible.
Really?
It doesn't look like when it's just popping out of him. It doesn't look like it's actual. It doesn't look like
attached.
you can go and grab it.
Yeah. Well, look, we still have, it's 8 months away. There's a lot of
It is.
post-production. So I like how the red light maybe is a hint to Carnage. Ruggs, I think those symbiotes are going to be like this Scream, Riot, Agony, Lasher, Phage from that Lethal Injection storyline. What about the voice? What do you think about Eddie? Is that Tony Todd? Is that Zoom?
It
Is this
could be.
the Candyman? Who is this? Do we like that voice? Is that what you think he sounded
I would
like?
have liked a little bit more of a less human sounding,
Alien,
timbery
more
voice.
alien?
We are Venom.
Yes, I love that though.
Something that was more creepy because he
Well,
just sounds like Spawn to me or something.
Well, and maybe it should be like a doubled up, like there's multiple voices because it's kind of
Yeah.
like a symbiote unconsciousness. But I
I would have
just
liked it to be his voice.
Tom
Let's get into
Hardy's.
the real fucking problem. Who the fuck calls it symbiotes?
Okay, here's the thing. Jenny Slate says
Symbiote.
symbiotes.
Symbiotes.
So what did you guys
and
always?
this is the key to having human evolution. What are
What-
you talking
so
about?
So how would you say the word?
Well, when I eat the cereal, I call it symbiotes.
Symbiotes.
Yes.
It's symbiote.
Symbiote. I would say
How-
symbiote.
what do you mean? How do I say it? It's the way it's said.
Well, this is English sometimes is a really stupid language because if you go to Merriam-Webster, guess what?
do they say it like
Both
that?
pronunciations are valid.
Oh shit.
Here we go.
Tomato.
The first one is this is the first pronunciation.
Symbiote. Symbiote. Symbiote.
Okay, but at the bottom it says medical definition of symbiote, medical dictionary, and this is this pronunciation.
Symbiote. Symbiote.
So that both you could say it both ways, I guess. I don't know. It is odd.
And corrected.
It is a word that we thought we knew how to say for years. And suddenly Jenny Slate just comes and fucks up your universe. Okay. Last thing. The look of Venom. Better or worse than 2007? When you first saw it, what was your initial reaction?
I don't. It's not a good or a bad thing. I just look like that. Venom looks like a hard-boiled egg with black stuff over it. Like his eyes look like
Yeah.
hard-boiled eggs.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm hungry.
Initially,
I think it looks better.
It looks
Yeah.
better.
In some ways, I think the teeth are still. There's something about the teeth that I don't like.
There's no lips, Rugs.
There's more gloss. I mean, there's more like this one feels. It's 10 years, so you could.
Yeah.
It feels like you can actually grab it, where that old one doesn't look like.
2007, he had a big head too. Like the proportion was weird.
The
I always
eyes
thought.
need to be bigger.
I do think the eyes need to be a little bit bigger. The teeth look like Pennywise teeth. I like the horror vibe that it's actually giving, but initially it was a little bit laughable because it looks like a rubber Halloween mask a little bit with the tongue out. You know, that's
It
like
looks
what
like a Tim Burton thing.
It looks like a
something that
Tim
was-
Burton
that's in a Tim Burton cartoon. Like if you look Nightmare Before Christmas, something like that. Like
that aesthetic is kind of interesting, and I want to see if he will have the spider. But it's just, you know, Venom didn't always have that big tongue. Like originally in Todd McFarlane's design, that was not there. Eric Larson, when he took over, added the tongue, and then it just went crazy and made the eyes all crazy.
It's just funny to me that this movie is being made at this time.
I can't believe it's being made.
This movie is like would have been perfect in like 2005.
I think so. And
like along with like Ghost Rider and like Elektra,
completely out of context.
Name only.
Yeah.
Is this like we're just taking a character and that like that's it. We're just taking his name.
So, okay, here's the thing. Let's end on this because there was rumored of a Peter Parker cameo. I don't see how the fuck Peter Parker would fit into this movie based on this trailer. However, the thing with Venom is that Venom hates Spider-Man. Eddie Brock hates Spider-Man. That's how they bond. Could they retcon this to make him hate Spider-Man? He gets this first, and then they end up hating Spider-Man later? I don't know.
What?
I think that's the way. I feel like that's the back door is something with Silk. That's the way I feel about it. But
Okay.
I'm just maybe I'm wrong because you can show the origin of how Silk got the spider, and then you can have like kind of like Tom Holland walk around in the background like he just got bit too, and then they cut to later. So you're like, oh, that's how he got the spider bite.
There needs to be some kind of spider
like that.
Either for me, the giveaway that this won't have Spider-Man is when it cuts to in association with Marvel.
Yes, it starts with that.
I've never seen them.
Yeah, that's
any
interesting.
movie, even the ones that aren't MCU, go in association with Marvel. They'll just throw the Marvel title card on there, but they won't say in association. And that for me is like, yeah, they don't.
I thought that
this
was
has nothing to do with the MCU.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
and like it just doesn't. I don't know. None of that jives with what I've seen. Like MCU fully like embraces character origins for the most part.
Yeah.
And this one is like, no, we're making symbiotes.
I do like the one thing we didn't get in 2007 is like Venom's inner monologue. The physical effects the symbiote has. You get.
I like that.
All that shit is great. Like they never even addressed that. He didn't have a different voice. That was talking to him in Spider-Man 3.
I feel like every good actor or actress has like one role where they're just like, I'm just gonna let loose and do some and not give a fuck.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is Tom Hardy's.
I mean,
chance to
the
do that.
cast is solid. Tom Hardy, Michelle Williams, Riz Ahmed, possibly Woody Harrelson. Like this is amazing talent.
I think this is like Kate Blanchett doing Hella or where it's just like I don't care. I'm just having fun.
But
it
if
doesn't really
you think
matter.
about all of Hardy's
This
roles,
is stupid.
He's always like in a cage or covered up, like Mad Max and Bane, and now Venom. Like somebody started a meme free Tom Hardy because he's always just encased in something in a lot of his movies.
Right. Like, what do you think about your expectations for this movie? Is it like
low?
Fantastic Four, where you're like ready to shit on it and you're gonna go in knowing that it's gonna suck, or is it? You're like, all right, I don't give a fuck. Like me, I'm like, I don't give a fuck about this movie. I know it doesn't mean anything. So, I don't know. It's like, as long as I go and there's some kind of entertainment value, I'll be happy to watch it. You know what I mean?
I'm on the same boat.
Yeah. I think I will actually enjoy it because I'm going to go in with
I know
really low
good.
expectations.
There's a lot of movies where you don't expect anything from them. You know that they're garbage, but if they have some kind of redeeming either effects or action or something that you won't see in any other movie, it might be worth checking out. So I'm hoping that there's something like that. We'll see when the next trailer comes out.
Yeah, we have a lot of time coming out in October, so my curiosity.
So we're all shitting on this.
Yes, my curiosity is peaked,
All right,
and
the week before when week or two before we were talking about how what's his face is in it.
Woody Harrelson got you excited.
I was like, I was getting a little excited, and then I saw what leaked first was the image, and I was like, this isn't bad. Like I'm like I kind of like the image, and then I saw the trailer, and I'm like, oh, this is 15 years too late.
It's like a throwback movie.
This is a different era.
Yeah, it's a throwback.
Yeah. It's like one of those things where they did Catwoman and they didn't do Selena Kyle.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're already like, okay, this is not Catwoman. This is really, or So you're doing a
Something
Venom
else.
without Spider-Man. It's kind of like another thing. Where
So
it's like,
again,
not
if
really
you
Venom.
go into this like Elseworlds, like Gotham, thinking it's an Elseworlds thing, it's a completely canon thing. I think you could actually have. I think I may enjoy this horror sci-fi alien movie that we're gonna get. Okay, enough of that. All right, it's here.
Is that the music where I'm going to hear if I listen to this?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Of course, you heard it. It's the Batman scene transition means it's time for our Avengers Infinity War review. And of course,
yes.
Mike Rips is excited, and so should you. Of course, I gotta play this.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
Yeah, but the internet's been really. I mean,
they've been really good.
A lot of the
for the most
reviewers
part.
have been really good about giving like super vague reviews.
Yeah, and but it's so hard to talk about this movie. The whole thing is a spoiler, really, for the most part.
You really can't say anything.
No.
I've never seen it like this, where people are like actively like, "Don't spoil, don't spoil." When
Everyone's
we talk about
being
it, don't
cool.
spoil.
Yeah, it's amazing. This is the 19th MCU movie.
Jesus Christ.
So you've already read this marketing copy everywhere on the internet. The 10 years, 18 movies in the making. As the road to Infinity War finally arrives. But let's start with the box office. Even though it's early, we are recording this on the Saturday
This is
after it
insane.
came out.
This daily.
Already, this is what happened. $39 million Thursday domestic, adding in Friday's total. So far through Friday, $106 million domestic, plus an additional $178 million international, giving the movie $284 million through Friday.
You still got 2 more days.
Just Friday. This movie easily can make $500 million by the time Monday rolls around. Think about
Wowzers.
that. Think about, they're estimating.
Just Friday, 105 mil.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow. Well, the estimate was what, 220 to like 235?
Yeah, 225 to 240. Disney is being a little cautious. It's trailing.
What's the record is
Star Wars Force Awakens at 248.
248. Do you think it'll beat that?
I don't know. It's trailing. It's right behind it right now in terms of the opening numbers. It may actually beat that once this thing ramps up. I mean, we have another 2 days of monies to add to this. I think it may beat Star Wars. I think it may beat Star Wars. When I saw 225 to 235, I was like, wow, that seems really conservative, really low, but maybe they're just trying not to.
Black Panther was what, 201?
202.
202.
And Last Jedi was 207. Oh, no, the first Avengers was 207. Last Jedi, 220. I think it'll beat that. I don't know if it's going to.
I think it'll beat Black Panther.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll beat Star Wars.
It should beat Black Panther. It should beat the original.
Avengers,
it may
yeah.
just fall just behind Star Wars Force Awakens. Maybe it's going to be neck and neck. That's going to be very interesting. Our Rotten Tomato score for this 84% on the tomato meter. 7.5
Really?
out of 10. Yeah. Audience score 93, which I find interesting because Black Panther was in the 90s. It's very
What was
interesting.
the average score you said?
7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
So that's like a C
a good
plus.
solid movie.
Yeah.
Not
Did
C+,
you read these
yeah.
reviews, Imran?
No.
I did.
Did you
Okay.
guys? So before
I read so many reviews.
Let's start with opening thoughts. What you saw before, what you did before the movie, if you read reviews, and what you thought when the movie ended. Anthony, you want to go first?
Sure.
All right. You read the reviews before
I
seeing
read
the movie?
reviews before. I read like trusted reviews that I
Okay.
like knew when it spoiled, although I couldn't be 100% sure. Luckily, I got nothing spoiled other than stuff I already knew.
So did that affect your mindset going in?
I wanted to read things that would hype me up.
Okay.
So if I saw
enough.
something that wasn't going to hype me up, I wasn't going to read it. Because I wanted to go into this with few spoilers and just excited. Like I didn't want to come in
positive
like,
energy.
Yeah,
I see.
didn't want
Okay.
to come in like jaded.
I like
or
that.
anything like
Okay, I like that.
And obviously I'm a big MCU fan, so this movie was very, very I wouldn't say important, just I was very excited to see this movie. Opening thoughts, man.
How many times do you see this, by the way?
I've seen it twice already. It's only Saturday. Opening night, and then I saw it again yesterday right after work. I was like, I got to watch this again before we talk about this. Opening thoughts. This movie's very interesting. It's not my favorite MCU film. I'll say that right off the bat. It's I don't think it'll crack my top 5.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
But I think the movie overall, considering all the factors of the 18 movies, the amount of characters, the fact that it is even good, in my opinion, is quite an accomplishment. I think the ambition
I agree.
for this and the just the fact that this movie isn't just a fucking mess is already like a win. I think overall the plot isn't all that exciting. It is like a Thanos film first and foremost, which is kind of good. But it's, for me, the movie is enjoyable because it's all the characters I loved smashing together in one film and having a bunch of awesome character moments. The plot about chasing the Infinity Stones and all that is
Magic
whatever.
Stones, people.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Stones.
I thought Thanos was solid. So overall, not my favorite MCU film, but very just impressed by the ambition and kind of excited to see where it goes. I have a lot of favorite character things that happened in this film.
Yeah, there's a lot of great moments, and that's I'm kind of shocked that it's not your favorite. Ruggs.
No.
All right, I need to preface this with something else before I get into this movie.
Dokley.
Okay. There was an article that was James Cameron was criticizing Avengers movies.
Yes.
Yep.
And just superhero movies in general. And the internet got all fucking butthurt and started like ripping this guy apart.
Yeah.
And he's completely right. And there's nothing that's more evident than when you watch this movie. Because, not that I feel that there's superhero fatigue, because this movie's got me so hyped and it did things that were like so miraculous to have all these characters and all of this beautiful set design and all of these great levels of CGI and character design and set design and all that stuff. So you can't touch that in this movie. But you can touch what at the heart what James Cameron was saying is that this stuff, it's just, a lot of it's just magic. A lot of it, there's no science to it. There's no explanation to it. You just take it at face value. And I think that weakens it a little bit. So this movie, being this great movie, and Anthony was talking about the Infinity Stones, like, we have no idea how they work, what anybody's power set is, what they actually do with their powers. There's no real explanation to how anything works, and we're just kind of so. There was a point where I was watching this movie where I was like, what is it? What am I even watching? These powers do? Like, I felt like in the X-Men movies, like you knew that like this person's power can do this, and there's limitations to that, and then this person's power does that. So you have all these things, and now you have like these things called the Infinity Stones, which are all these different things that give you different powers. And you really are kind of just like you have to go along for the ride, like the magic. You have to just believe in this magic. Now, if you can do that, this movie is the fucking awesomest movie you'll ever see, because it's fucking balls to the wall, like fucking funny moments, character interactions. You got like candy out the ass for you to like digest. But to defend James Cameron and what at the core of what he was saying.
So real quick, this is what he said. He said, not that I don't love the movies. It's just, come on, guys. There are other stories to tell besides hypergonadal males without families doing death-defying things for 2 hours and wrecking cities in the process. It's like, oi. That's what he said.
Yeah, but that's not the second part of what he was saying. Is that where's the science in this? Where is like something that makes sense? Like he's trying to make sense out of all these powers and all these things and all the feats that people are doing. And it gets a little bit unwieldy. You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody, you know what I'm saying? There's this technology that does like Iron Man is like generating shields and things. And he's like basically like Green Lantern in this movie.
Yeah, the only way they explain that is he makes a throwaway line about nanotech.
Nanotechnology.
So I'm not shitting on Avengers. I'm just saying that's what James Cameron's main problem is with these movies, that there's a science that's not being explained. Now, to get off that and go into Avengers, is that I really did enjoy that. But I'm just showing you what he's talking about, the criticism. Because that was a big thing on Twitter this week.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
I wanted to address it. I did really enjoy this movie. It is full of great moments. It is gripping. It's riveting. I was fucking glued to my seat. I was fucking along the roller coaster ride the whole time. Did it have flaws? Yes. And most of it is typical writing stuff. And some of the stuff I just said about what James Cameron was talking about. But definitely go see it. It's really great.
Wow. That's not what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to shit all over it.
I do have a lot. I do have a lot of problems with this movie, and I can go down the list if you want. But like, let's see what everyone has to say first.
We'll get into it.
You know, so far we have 2 flip reviews. Like, I thought Anthony would be all over it. I thought you would like it more than it seemed you did. And like,
I am all over it. It's just.
And you thought Ruggs would shit on it, and he's kind of not. My opening thoughts are going to be very predictable. You know what I'm going to say. Let me preface this by, I saw the movie twice in the same day.
You saw it one after another.
Pretty much back to back.
When were your 2 showings? What, one was 3:15, one was 7:30?
Here's what happened. I had a ticket for a 7:30 showing in IMAX. Unexpectedly got out of work early, and the guy I work with goes, yo, you want to see Avengers Infinity War right now? There was a showing down the street of the theater at 3:15. It was like 3:20 when we realized this. And I was like, you know what? I may miss the beginning, but I'm going to see it again. Fuck it. Let's go.
Talking nerd.
And we went, and I did miss the opening prologue the first time. But I was like, whatever. I'm going to watch it again. And then I was like, really excited to watch it again in like the hour and a half I had between showings, and then seeing it in IMAX with a nighttime crowd, a whole different experience. The effects were stunning. This movie it's stunning. It's epic. It's hilarious. It's heartfelt. It's heartbreaking. It is the Empire Strikes Back-ish of the movie where everything is fucked up at the end. The heroes lose, and Thanos almost steals the movie. It's a very much a Thanos story, but I love this movie so much that all its flaws I can look over. I don't even care. Yeah. I'm all in on the magic stones. I kind of get what each stone does. They kind of showed it a little bit, but it does not bother me because this fucking roller coaster ride, the payoff of 10 years and watching these movies, these 18 movies. I mean, you can walk into this movie without seeing those movies and enjoy it, but man, if you've seen all
I don't know if you can.
You will enjoy it, but not to the degree.
You won't.
If you have seen all of them, the payoff is incredible. And that's why I didn't even mind that there weren't a lot of character moments. It was like an event, comic book come to life. Yeah. And I was all in. Let's go. I love this movie. I want to wrap this movie around me. I want to live inside this movie. I'm going to suck this movie.
So you liked it the most.
You definitely liked it the most.
Now, me and Anthony have to fight who has the most problems with it.
There's our opening thoughts. Let's begin the discussion.
Let me make a comment on the crowds.
Yes.
It really does affect my movie going experience. So the Thursday night I saw it packed theater full of adults.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The next time I saw it was yesterday right after work.
More kids.
A lot of kids, not a full theater at all.
Whoa.
And when it's kids and not a full theater, the excitement just isn't there.
The energy isn't there.
People aren't laughing at the jokes that people should be laughing at. And like the big reveals aren't like, no one, I'd rather see it, even though I hate people. Yeah. I'd rather see it with a full audience at night. Than during the day with a bunch of kids and not a full theater.
It really doesn't affect me that much. No.
I don't know. The atmosphere kind of affects it.
It helps. It does help if there is like a lot of enthusiasm, but it doesn't make or break the movie for me. I have my own enthusiasm to deal with.
Here's the interesting thing that happened with me. The 3:15 showing, I was super hyped. Not a lot of people there. Pretty much an empty theater, which was actually kind of great because the 7:30 showing, full crowd, everyone hyped, everyone laughing, reacting, but they laughed over a lot of lines that I caught the first time because a lot of these jokes, they come in pairs of 3. Like they'll stretch it out. They do like 3 lines in a row. You laugh at the first one and you miss the kind of tag to the joke. I thought it was interesting. But while, during the movie, everyone's fucking cheering and there's so many fuck yeah moments. When the movie ends, it's fucking silent. Like, it's amazing. I was just like left speechless. I was like, wow. Holy shit.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
I mean, it's
the first time the credits of, because Marvel usually does amazing graphic sequences with their
we had
credits,
nothing.
and this one's nothing.
There's
plain.
no credits. Yeah, it was just black text on white. Yeah. Nothing.
They're trying to hype you up for the next movie, like usually after the regular Marvel. This one they were trying to really make you feel like garbage, make you wait for that last tag to see if there's any ray of hope.
And there is, and you get a little bit of hope. So look, let's do this. Let's start with the very beginning. Like I said, I missed the beginning the first time. So then the second time I was kind of watching it for the first time because wow, what an opening. Dives right in.
Let me get into that because my theater the first time the sound was terrible.
Oh no.
So I couldn't hear things that I was supposed to hear. Like the second time I saw it, sound was way better. But that opening is very good in that it's that distress call.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys caught this, but they're like, we SOS or whatever, but they're like, this is not a warship. There are families on board.
In the radio
this
transmission.
Is not a warcraft. We are in need of immediate assistance. And it's like that cold opening with the Marvel logo going. And I'm just like,
chilling.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Like we're starting like this. We're starting Alien 3 style just by killing everybody.
Dude, let me tell you, this movie reminds me of Star Wars, of the great sci-fi franchises, Aliens, Terminator, Star Wars. Like, it's all of that. And to start with Thanos and the Black Order right the fucking away was ballsy. It was amazing. The deaths right away. You lose 2 big people right away. And the Hulk battling Thanos looked like it was ripped from the comic books. Holy shit, that was crazy.
I loved it because everyone was shitting on Thanos.
Yeah.
Prior to this, like he's been shitty in the movies. He's kind of just been a little bitch. So you got to start this off strong. So you have him attack the ship that has Thor and Hulk and Loki on it. And you have him kill Loki and Heimdall. You have him beat Thor the fuck up. You have him beat Hulk's ass so fucking badly that Hulk doesn't want to be Hulk anymore.
He now has performance anxiety. He's scared to come out. It's hilarious.
The line where like he's like they do the callback where Loki's like, we have a Hulk.
Yes, I love that
and
line.
Hulk comes out.
Yeah.
And then he's kicking Thanos' ass, and Ebony Maw goes, the Cull Obsidian's about to intervene. He's like, let him have his fun.
He's
and
just
it's like,
messing with them. Yeah.
Thanos doesn't. This is played Thanos, and Thanos just throat punches him and fucking throws him out, beats his fucking ass. You're just like, that's like, okay, Thanos is not to be trifled with.
No, and think about where Hulk's been the last 2 years, battling aliens and winning, never being defeated. Like, Hulk never gets defeated. He took him down. He probably fucked him up. And then you even have Banner at the end going, Hulk, buddy, you and I got a bunch of things to talk about at the end.
I don't buy the Hulk for a minute. That plot device is completely erroneous. There's no fucking way in any world where the Hulk just backs down. Like the madder Hulk gets, the stronger Hulk gets. The more he gets beat down, the more strong. They had to do that. They wrote that in as because they need him at the end to be the guy that beat his ass.
Why would Hulk pussy out? I agree with that. That's
you have
weird.
to take away your big gun in order for this
to be
Thanos
even
to even be able to do anything, because the Hulk would always be in opposition to him.
Also,
let me say this though for that. The Thor Ragnarok and this, I think, added like Hulk stronger, Hulk get madder when he gets stronger or whatever. Like for me, that's not relatable. Like I like my heroes that can lose, and this I like the.
Here's
depth
a flaw.
of,
Here's a kryptonite.
He's a flaw. He's a fucking child, and when he gets his ass beat, he goes and he backs down.
Yeah, he really is. He's like the mind of a 2-year-old. That's a
He's
great
a baby.
point. Yeah,
it's like falling off a bike for the first time. You're kind of hesitant to jump on.
But that psychology doesn't work, because I think if Thanos' presence is there, then the Hulk won't come out. But when they're fighting minions, the Hulk's afraid. Maybe when Thanos shows up, he shrinks back up. But like even with minions, he's afraid to come back out.
I was disappointed that he didn't Hulk out of that Hulkbuster suit. Like, how awesome would that would have been?
I understand. Like, maybe I don't know.
But look, I'll tell you,
I just don't buy that.
Here's how I accepted it, because of the packed amount of story and characters this movie has, and we just got kind of a Hulk movie with Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, I heard that.
I'd rather them spend time on people we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, but I would have rather just Thanos use one of his stones to incapacitate the Hulk and not make him a bitch. and you know what I mean? It would, and then he would eventually come back, and it would just make more sense that the Hulk would just shrink in and then just run away.
But don't you think they're going to have a moment where Hulk comes back and he fights Thanos? And
yeah, of course. But
this redeeming arc where he kind of gets over his fear.
Yeah, but you can when you're watching it. Well, when I'm watching it, maybe not you, but when I'm watching it, I know that they wrote this so they could get the Hulk out of the way, so they can bring him back later, and it's obvious. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, I know what they're gonna do. Like, and I'm like, and this doesn't really make sense. So I'm like, this is a weird choice. So I don't agree with the choice. I think that was another. They could have written it a better way. Now, if some people are along for the ride that he's a child and he hides and whatever. I don't know. I've never seen that in like years of reading the Hulk, that he was afraid to come out. So it's never been established before. But like, I'm like, okay, fine. So, but that's one of the points of the movie where the writing gets in the way. The writing to serve the plot and not the characters gets in the way.
I do love the line where he's like, screw it, you big green asshole, I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
That's fucking great. So
Well, it gives Mark Ruffalo something to do.
Yeah, and Ruffalo is great in this movie. So, speaking of Ruffalo, Loki bites the dust, Heimdall bites the dust, but before he does, he sends Hulk through the Bifrost, crashing into the Sanctum Sanctorum, which is similar to the comic book version, except it was Silver Surfer crashing through the Sanctum Sanctorum. You know what I love in this movie? A lot of the Steadicam shots, a lot of the handheld shots, like in the beginning when Tony's figuring out who Thanos is. And
Wait, we're not going to get into Loki dying?
Oh, no. Okay, I said Loki bites the dust. Heimdall bites the dust. Do you think Loki's actually dead?
Do you guys believe that's dead?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I believe he's gone.
Who you think he's actually dead?
I think Loki's actually dead because when he's choking him out, he goes, no tricks this time.
Yeah. He's,
So I think Loki at this point there's nothing left for that character.
He's faked this out many times before.
I have a theory that anybody that dies
pre-snap
is dead.
Yep.
But then again, if someone else was to wield the gauntlet, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm on that same boat, Ruggs, but I'm like, they're really going to kill Gamora before Guardians 3 comes out? I'm like,
no. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's one of the things that
what do you mean pre-snap?
When he snaps his fingers and kills everybody, they turn to dust?
No, he throws Gamora off a cliff.
Yeah.
That's pre-snap and Vision, too.
I think the pre-snap deaths may actually stick. The post-snap...
Even Gamora?
Maybe.
No, that's the only one that throws me off.
I know.
Gamora, I doubt they're going to kill off. So that's the thing. Like, that someone's going to get... Because when you know that sequels are coming out, you know you're going to have to revive
There
these
is going to
people.
be a 3, but maybe not Gamora. Maybe they do give Peter a really big hole he has to deal with in the loss of Gamora, and that's his motivation. Peter Quill, right. Peter Quill. No, but I do think the post-snap deaths are the ones that are going to be reversed. The pre-snap deaths, many of them may remain. But I do think that was actually Loki, and this is not a fake out.
Upon that second watch, I caught that he only killed half the Asgardians. Because I was like, at first I was like, oh no, Valkyrie and Korg just die off screen.
Oh no! Are they dead? Where were they? They were on the ship.
Someone suggested to me that they were the ones making the distress call.
That's a good point. I think he killed all the unnamed Asgardians that nobody knows. Those people are all dead.
But then I think Thor makes a reference. So he's like, he killed half the Asgardians.
I did not catch that, but I haven't only seen it once.
You know what I love about this movie? That I think it achieves what the Avengers did, which is characters meeting each other for the first time and characters that have been apart for a long time reuniting. I loved every introduction to every character, every scene, every planet they went to, and it does what the Avengers does, but I think this surpasses it. Like seeing the Guardians interact with everyone, seeing everyone meet for the first time, so well handled, so exciting, so funny. I loved all of that.
Well, you guys have read a ton of event comics.
Yeah.
To me, this felt like an event comic.
Absolutely.
In that it's cool, it's awesome seeing all the characters together.
Yeah.
And do things together and interact and all that stuff. But when you read an event comic, by the end of it, you're like, that was really cool. There's actually not a lot there.
No, there's
not a lot of plot going. Like,
yes.
At the end of the day, it's Thanos chasing Infinity Stones, which everyone agreed with prior to this are like the Infinity Stones were like the least interesting thing in the MCU because, like Rugboy mentioned, no one knows what they really can do.
Right.
It's just MacGuffins. There's no way to explain any of this.
So
at the end of the day, it's a Thanos story chasing Infinity.
Do you think Thanos stole this movie? Like, it really is a
Thanos movie.
So this is another...
He's the only character that has an arc in this movie and accomplishes what he wants.
This is another brilliant thing that they did that only could be achieved because of the 18 movies prior, is you could actually make the movie about the villain and give him enough time to get to see his nuanced, three-dimensional character.
To a degree. I think that even though Thanos was the star of this movie, I think that there could have been a little bit more to kind of bolster up this relationship that him and Gamora have. And there wasn't enough there for me for when that payoff of when he actually kills her happens.
To kill her, yeah.
But you saw his pained look on his face as he was throwing her over. Like, he did it. He was upset.
I agree with
Ruggs. That's like show me, don't tell me. That he's telling me in this one scene that he loves her, but there's nothing else there to bolster that
other than the one flashback. Like, I feel like they could have fleshed that more out in the previous Guardians films.
Yeah,
like have Gamora be like, he was a father figure to me, but I hate him or something like that.
Like even this is what I would have liked to have seen. Like and I remember I seen the movie only once, and I might have missed something. But to me, like the minute where Thanos picks Gamora out of a crowd to take as his like daughter,
Yeah.
like he's like, you're a fighter, but like didn't really see her fight.
No, we didn't. Yeah, they didn't.
You know,
why
like
would
I
you
would
say
have
that?
liked to have seen him like watch her like, you know, fight guards
Resist.
and do
That's a good
something, whatever, and him kind of like take a shine to her and then build that moment. And they just kind of like, okay, they're showing you something, but they're not really showing you enough. They're just, you know, show me, don't tell me.
It could have used that one scene where they come to get her and she like, maybe she really hurts one of the guards and takes him down as a little kid.
Yeah.
And resists, and he sees that, but he just goes, yeah, you're a fighter. Hello, little one. He's like, you're a fighter.
It's crazy to me because like I can defend this film and I can criticize it. Like
I know.
I'll defend it here because
Yeah.
I'm like, man, this movie's already 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Well, that's the thing. It's like there's so much, and
That would have been an additional maybe 30 seconds.
yeah, maybe, and you could cut something else out. But man, so let's talk about Thanos' motivation, you guys. I feel like Ruggs doesn't really buy his motivation.
No, I have a whole problem with this whole thing, but
I like
here's the
it.
thing. I like it better than his comic book motivation.
Yeah, they did not
Because
do the death thing. The
The
love
death
with
thing
death.
is like that's not relatable. Who's actually, other than if you're like John Wayne Gacy, like who the fuck's really involved with death?
On the one hand, Thanos, is he a prophet? Is he a madman?
He thinks he's a prophet. He's a hero of his own story.
He's doing what he thinks is right.
Even the line where Loki's like, "You'll never be a god,"
Yeah.
and Thanos just smiles before he kills him.
Yeah.
He's like, Thanos isn't trying to be a god.
No,
he's
no.
trying to be. He's a prophet. He's a messiah.
Yes, he's like David Koresh. He feels it's his duty to pare down existence so everyone survives. And I mean, I love the line where he's talking to Gamora. He's like, "Do you know what happened after that? Kids have food in their mouths. Everyone, it's utopia. It's paradise."
yeah, but that's completely erroneous way of thinking as well. So the bubonic plague comes out, wipes out a third of the population. Guess what?
Yeah.
Everything stays exactly the same as soon as the population gets up again. What would have been a better thing, and to make him more like Hitler or something like that, was for him to want only the people that has the same interests as him survive. The people that, in his mind, would shepherd this kind of peace, not just randomly killing off half of the population.
He wants it to be even and random. Now, I liken Thanos to a gardener. When a garden is overgrown, what do? You gotta hack all that shit back so everything else can survive.
Yeah,
and
but
it
you're
can
just
continue to
completely
live.
glossing over this huge point that I just made.
Yeah, because
That
I don't.
Because the
He doesn't
bubonic
agree with
plague,
it.
I don't agree with
because the bubonic plague took out half the world,
Yeah.
and yet we still have all of the same exact ills and all the same exact problems, and in fact, it got even worse. So, what is that? If you just kill randomly half the population, that doesn't do it. You still have bad people there that want to do harm and want to enslave people and do a lot of stuff. So you have to you
got to kill the bad people.
systematically choose who lives and choose who dies, and that would have made him more of a antagonistic figure, and they didn't do that. They made it random, and I think, I don't know, they used that as the way to kill off all the heroes randomly, and I just didn't agree with that either. I thought that was a lazy writing. That was just,
I think I think it's to draw sympathy towards Thanos because he's not this malevolent judge and jury. Like he's not going to pick. It's random.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
The thought is just, if we kill half of these people, it'll probably have to happen again, but at least it'll save the universe for the next, millions of years until we have someone else like him is going to have to do it
or
again.
if after the bubonic plague, maybe 30 years.
Maybe 30 years.
Shit is overgrown. And I mean,
Well, you're equating it to something real that happened.
that's the thing. And maybe that wasn't a big enough scale, the bubonic plague. This is like a large
I just think if you apply any
scale.
logic to this, you see that the writing is a little flimsy, but
I do. But I agree with Anthony. I like his motivation better than. I'm glad they didn't do Hela, bring her in as in love with death.
Well, that was Death's plan. That's why he was doing that in the comic books to appease Death.
Right,
to
'cause
try
she
and-
wanted everyone to
'cause
die.
He wanted to be something like Death was, something that was unkillable, something that was eternal.
Right.
He wanted to be on that level. He wanted to be her level. So he was doing her bidding. And that was one of the things that she was upset about, is that at a certain point in time, there was more people living than dying. And she wanted that to be that equation to be balanced out. So that made sense. Even that makes sense.
I wouldn't have liked it as much.
No, I agree that him being, it makes him a better tragic figure,
Right.
of that he wants to actually do good, but I don't think that this plan actually works.
Gotcha. I think it still makes him, he's still insane,
Yeah, I mean, that's what an insane person
He wants
would
to
do.
commit genocide.
Yeah.
Right.
On a universal scale.
Just like Hitler, he thought he was doing the right thing. He thought he was helping humanity.
I don't think I don't think they're trying to make him like Hitler is like even like you feel more that he's evil, more evil.
Yeah.
Whereas Thanos, you're like, this guy is just so off his rocks and so misguided. Like I think there's a difference in evil and being super misguided.
Right. Or being right, but being right in a way that reality doesn't agree with you.
You're right.
Another thing that I want to point out is that there's no societies that exist that have some kind of modicum of peace, where they're in all the universe, everybody's fucking fucked up and it's overpopulated everywhere. There's no race that's figured it out, I guess.
Well, he doesn't care.
He's taken what happened on Titan and just applied it to the rest of the universe irrationally.
Yes.
I think it does. My friend Erwin, who's been on the show, brought up a point that it's an interesting dichotomy between what he thinks and what the Avengers think, because obviously he's like all gung-ho, like half the universe has to go, no matter what. It's necessary.
Yep.
Where the Avengers, throughout the film, time and time again, have struggles even sacrificing one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like Vision. Vision has to die. No. Like even Wakanda is protecting a man that technically isn't even a man. Vision.
Right.
Or like Peter Quill has second thoughts about killing Gamora.
Yeah.
Stephen Strange ends up saving Tony at the end. Like there's all these parts where they're like, even one life is hard to sacrifice. Like the value of life for the Avengers is way more important to them. One life is more important than millions of lives.
I love that sacrifice theme comes up over and over again, and you see, from even
like the right thing to do is a sacrifice.
Yeah,
but even
but it's
every
hard.
life is important for the Avengers.
But is one life worth saving billions? That's what it always comes
If there's
down to.
another way, that's the Avengers thought, is like, if there's another way, all life is important. We can figure out a way to do this and not have to kill anybody.
And I mean, I do love the themes of family and the fact that they showed Thanos as a father. Like, that was crazy. And first of all, Red Skull cameo.
Oh shit!
Holy fuck!
Oh, that was legit. Like, I got out of my. I mean,
how
I
did they
perked
keep
up
that
even more, and I was
fucking
like,
secret?
whoa.
That was not the guy.
It's not Hugo Weaving.
It's Ross Marquand from Walking Dead.
Oh, it's it's Aaron from Walking Dead. That was Ross Marquand. Holy shit!
Apparently, he's really good at doing impressions of other actors.
And he did. Like, I was like, is that Hugo Weaving? It sounds like him. I don't know.
He was doing an impression of Hugo Weaving, doing an impression of a German dude.
Which guy is Aaron from Walking Dead?
He's
the homosexual guy.
He was he's got like the curly perm hair.
I hate that that's how it defines him, but it does in Walking Dead.
Yeah, that's who he is. But also, I like the way they made him, his flowing cloth cape kind of reminded me of Death from the comics, and they kind of combined the Death, because now he's the one who's forcing Thanos to make this choice. It's like, I love that the Soul Stone, you can't get it, you have to earn it. And you see the struggle in his face, and like when she thinks he doesn't love anyone, and she starts laughing, and then you slowly realize, no, he does love one person, and there is love in Thanos. Like, I don't know, I like that. I really like that. Yeah, really.
It didn't hit me as hard due to the many reasons Rugboy mentioned, but I'm not gonna argue if it did hit you.
I think it was fine, but I mean, as I said, it would have been just that much better if they would have, kind of set it up a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, let's this is a good spot. Let's take a quick break, play some promos. We have so much more to discuss right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Do you like video games?
Do you like comics?
Do you like movies?
I'm Ellie.
I'm Zinger, and we're the host of
Zing This Podcast.
We discuss nerdy topics every week on our podcast. What are some of the best ways to find our podcast, Ellie?
You can search us on SoundCloud,
iTunes,
Google Play,
and Stitcher.
And don't forget, that's ZENG.
This. We hope to see you guys there. Every week, we have new nerdy topics.
Yay!
Hey listener, Dutch here from Voice from the Underground, the podcast. My co-host and I want to invite you to check out our little corner of the podcast verse. At Voice from the Underground, we talk about all the crazy happening around us and try to make a little bit of sense out of the nonsense with little to no results. If the idea of hearing three semi-intelligent, outspoken nerds talk about politics, social issues, current events, sports, movies, pretty much anything that we decide to talk about because, well, it's our show, appeals to you, grab your shovel and come on down to the underground, and then consult a qualified psychotherapist. Find us wherever you get your podcasts, just not where you buy your weed.
Voice from the underground.
And
Hey, listener, thanks for checking out the show if you're enjoying the show. And maybe if you're a new listener, if you're loving the show so far, there's a place where you can get more show, and it is at our fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon. You help us keep the lights on, keep our recordings full of bytes and bits that go on the internet, and you get bonus content in the form of an exclusive RSS feed just for our supporters. So if you have been following along, we've kind of had an April pledge drive thing going. Thanks to listener John Seifert. His challenge was initially, let's raise $100. I will increase my pledge from 20 to 40. Modified that to, if you can raise $25 of additional Patreon support, I will match that 25. If you can get to 50, I will match that to 50. And I really want to bankrupt John Seifert, so we tried real hard. Here's the update. First of all, thank you. Huge thank you goes out to Jose Joel Cazares for signing up to the Patreon. New Patreon member, and also Adam Morris, PhD, the official science guy of the Jock and Nerd podcast, increased his pledge. So, as of right now there's still, 2 days left in April. This may be the final tally. We may get a push. We'll update next week. But the final tally is we are up $46 and 3 new patrons.
Nice.
Amazing.
John Seifert, you're the fucking man.
I
dude.
can't believe that this happened. We can't thank you enough.
I don't know why people give us money, but it's awesome. Thank you.
I don't know why, but we're,
I mean, we've given you reasons why, but it still surprises me every time someone
I
gives
guess
us
this
money.
entertainment is valuable. Value for value. We give you entertainment.
You've got instant reactions on there now.
Yeah. Instant reactions to all. Here's what's on right now. You can hear Rug Boy's review of Rampage.
Which I probably take back now.
Whatever. Post-show from last episode, that was a lot of fun, and all of our instant reactions separately to Avengers Infinity War. Jose Joel Cazares said, thank you for the shout-out on the program. Great program this week, and great last name pronunciation. Happy to help. Thank you so much.
Hey.
Mark Bunang writing in. He is now at the $10 level where he gets to pick a movie to review. He has his pick. He says, I would like to hear a review for the 1994 movie The Crow.
Geek boner.
I really liked that movie growing up and would love to hear a review from you guys. Dude,
I'll do that.
I fucking love The Crow. Absolutely.
Sure.
I've never seen The Crow.
You've never seen The Crow? Dude, it's pretty.
Yeah, he won't like it.
You don't think you'll like it? I guess if you didn't see it in the 90s.
No, it's dated.
You
but
may not enjoy it. I love this fucking movie. Especially because
I was 6 years old when this came out.
I mean, the fact that Brandon Lee died during the making of this movie just made it
I've read the stuff,
more crazy. So yeah, look for that in the Patreon. We will be doing movie reviews for our Patreon members. So join the fan club, jockandnerd.com/Patreon.
You think we'll do them in the Patreon?
I think we should
that's a good place to do it. Yeah, because it provides more content for people that pay.
Yes, we just increased $46. We need to give more bonus content. If you want to hear it, sign up. The pledge drive is done, everyone. We'll shut up about it. But I am also working with TeePublic, the site that hosts our shop, for some extra rewards for patrons. So there's something working there. Okay, back into Avengers Infinity War. I don't even know where to go, Anthony. What do you want to talk about?
The first thing that came to mind for me, I don't know if you guys agree or disagree with this, is I really liked Thor in this movie.
Thor had a pretty important part in this.
Besides Thanos, I think he is like the next guy in this film, sort of.
Yeah.
And like his arc of like, where the part where he's like joking around, but he's actually like quite sad that like he has
lost everything.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm 1,500 years old.
Yeah.
That's my purpose.
Yeah.
And like, even if and he's like Rocket, and the fact that he's talking to a raccoon about this.
Yes, and Rocket is like, time to be captain. And
Rocket's like there for him. Yeah, he calls him Sweet Rat. Like they nail Thor so much. Like Chris Hemsworth is in his like pocket now in terms of this role. Like, because like that's Thor.
Yes.
Like Thor should be like this goofy, dopey jock, kind of like medieval jock. Like he's referring to Rocket as Sweet Rabbit the entire film.
I think he's better in this than Ragnarok. Like Ragnarok was too goofy, jokey.
Yeah, and the part where
it's
like
a good balance.
Yes.
It's a good balance. I would agree. Like, and the part where he's like to the Guardians, like farewell morons.
Yes.
And like he doesn't know that that's not their name and that's insulting. Like is like they've nailed that, and then like to balance that with like his internal strife of like living this long and now having nothing to live for,
and then the sheer
like,
badassery of him.
And then the part where he fucking jumps into Wakanda, and it's like,
dude,
this is epic, and he's screaming like, "Bring me Thor, or bring me Thanos."
I think the next Thor movie should be Thor with Rocket and Tree. I love it. And he goes, "This is my friend over there. His name is Tree."
His name is Tree.
Yeah, Rabbit.
I am Groot, and then Steve. He's like,
I am Steve Rogers.
I am Steve Rogers.
I love it. He speaks Groot, and he's like, "Oh, he
what
speaks."
was the funniest line in this movie?
Dude,
if
let's
you
talk
wanna
about
go?
the humor, because the humor is, there's a lot of great fucking funny lines, but it's not overly done. Like, it's balanced really, really well.
As much as I fucking hate Drax in this movie,
he was great.
He had one great line. I think it was about who's Gamora, and he's like, "What is Gamora?" Or,
oh yeah, they're like, "Where is Gamora?" He's like, "What? I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora?"
Yeah, why is Gamora?
Tony goes, "I'll do you one better. Who's Gamora?" And he goes, "I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora?"
Yeah, that audibly made me laugh.
I got to agree with you, Ruggs. I'll put my favorite. That's probably one of my favorites, but I do agree that like Drax is funny, but he's become
a
one
joke
note.
kind of.
Yeah. He was so much cooler in the first Guardians
so
movie.
much cooler.
They completely fucked him over big time. They have not made.
I mean, Drax was the comedy relief in this movie a little bit. I did
He's
love
a comedy relief in every movie that he's been in since the
The
first
thing
one.
is, in the first movie, he had that arc of like, my family died, and he was funny, but he was funny because he just he didn't understand common like things would go over his head, and he'd
He
be like,
took everything literally.
Literally, that's what I'm looking for. He took everything. Now he's like, I'm standing in the corner and no one could see me move. It's like, well, that's not literal.
He would never have done that in the first movie.
Yeah.
So also, this Guardians, like this is 4 years since the end of Guardians 2. You know, they're a little more. They've been doing things.
Did you have a favorite line, Imran?
I love when Spider-Man is jumping through the portals and he's like, magic kick, and now Spidey magic, and he's jumping back and forth.
I didn't like that.
Do you not like that? I thought that was okay.
I didn't know what he was saying. It was inaudible.
Well, see, that's why you got to see it with like nobody in the room. What else? There was, there were so many fucking.
I liked Thor calling Rocket Sweet Rabbit a lot. I liked him saying farewell morons. Even the part where he's like, they're like, that's so cool. He's like, yes, so cool. I don't know. I think Thor is like in his pocket now, where Chris Hemsworth is just nailing this guy.
I think that when he called him Squidward was pretty funny.
Squidward, yeah.
Iron Man calling.
I like Chris Pratt going, "I'm gonna blow that nutsack of a chin right off your face."
Yeah, that was a nice line.
He refers to him as Grimace.
Yeah, he's like, "Put it out, Grimace." Tons of Easter eggs.
There was some good. I mean, there wasn't like anything that like made me that I thought was like super funny, but there was a lot of like intelligent lines where they're just playing off with the characters.
The balance of the humor was great. There's one part that the humor wasn't good, and that's after fucking Star-Lord fucks up with Thanos and they can't get the glove off of him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Did we lose?"
Oh yeah,
I'm
I
like,
hated that.
"No, you fucking you don't get to make a joke now. You fucked up everything." And in the fact that they were taking like 20 minutes to get the glove off was annoying to me as well. I'm like, you would have gotten it off by now. That scene was way too long.
Would you have, though?
That scene like is very it's very interesting that they decide to make. I mean, basically, Star-Lord is an asshole.
He's a dick. He lost it. He
like,
couldn't keep his cool.
The person I was watching it with, like by the end of it, not a super hardcore MCU fan. They were like, I don't like Star-Lord.
Well, look,
anymore.
Neither do I.
I understand the character motivation of like being so pissed off, but it's a really strong move to be like, we're gonna make this all your fault.
But I think what his reaction, he just found out that he killed Gamora. I think his reaction is completely logical and sensible, and it is what he would do.
He was about to kill Gamora earlier.
He was to stop her from to stop Thanos because he promised her.
I just think it's a bold move. A really I don't even know if it's ballsy. I think it's just like, wow, you're gonna make it all on this one hero's fault. His ego.
Yeah, they had him. They had the glove almost completely off.
After like 20 minutes.
And then he loses it. Yeah. You knew he was going to lose it, though.
Yeah.
You knew he was going to lose it. I love, what else? How about the music, you guys? I really thought Alan Silvestri brought his fucking A game. You know,
yeah, it was very good.
Well, he incorporated a lot of it's a lot of the themes from the first Avengers, and he just cuts it up, and like Cap's first appearance is like the violins.
Oh, it's fucking sick.
And like when Thor shows up, it's the same music they use in the rotating shot.
And then they even used the Ludwig Göransson's music from Black Panther.
Yeah.
And the drums. I read this article with Silvestri because he was a little hesitant to come back to do this because he'd never worked with a pair of directors. And he said working with them was like working with one person. He's like, they never talked over each other. Each one knew what their part was, what they were supposed to do. Like it was one fucking person. And I thought that was a really interesting observation of the Russo brothers. Like they got their shit locked down. But yeah, the music was so important and it worked so well. And let's talk about the fucking visual effects on Thanos. This is like, I feel like they went and found a purple alien and hired him to play fucking the Thanos in this movie. Like that's how real it looked at IMAX.
He was a very, very well captured, CG effect. He looked like he was actually there for the most part. There was a couple of scenes where it was a little weak here and there, but like for the most part, I'm going to say about like 90%.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
It was very, very like dead on.
And all these,
I think this is about as good as it can get.
Yeah, it's an amazing performance, and the Brolin gets a ton of credit, but the animators get a ton of credit. Like, who gets
the part
credit
when
for this?
when Mantis is sitting on his head, and they're like pulling at his arms, and Chris Pratt's like, it looks like he's right there.
Yeah.
Or when Thor has the Stormbreaker in him, and he's talking face to face, like he looks like he's there.
Dude, the lighting,
There's
the
other
shadows.
parts though, like when they're in like that throne room. I didn't look like he was there. Like it still looks like video gamey at certain points, but I will agree that most of the time it looks good.
Overall, the CG was good. It was especially good on Thanos. I think it was spotty on his henchmen. Now, henchmen, I don't know the fucking names like Anthony does because I don't think they had enough time to really breathe as characters.
They never introduced them. They never gave them their names.
Liked a scene where Thanos. I mean, Thanos is with them in the beginning with in the spaceship with the Asgardian destroyed spaceship or whatever.
They're all there.
But I would have liked to have seen a scene of him interacting with them and getting to know them just a little bit more, so I could at least know their names.
I agree. I agree with that.
I did not know them, and I wouldn't really be able to tell you one from the other.
That's why, like, a lot of people are going to be Googling this, but like, if you've read Hickman's Avengers, you know that this is Cull Obsidian, Ebony Maw, Corvus Glaive, and Proxima Midnight. They only mention Ebony Maw's name and maybe Corvus Glaive. Like, it was weird that they didn't.
Ebony Maw to me looked the best. He's the magic one.
I thought they all looked pretty good.
I didn't think Corvus Glaive or Proxima Midnight, the girl, I didn't think they looked good at all.
Yeah.
I thought Proxima Midnight looked terrible.
Right.
Yeah, I thought she looked really bad.
What about the big one?
The big one looked fine.
Yeah.
It's harder. I think it's hard. The more human like it looks, the harder it is, I think, to do CGI.
I see.
So, it's the uncanny valley.
Yeah.
I think that the weakest part of the CG is some of the rubbery Spider-Man-y stuff. And Iron Man could get rubbery in certain parts. But the biggest flaws is when they're trying to superimpose the real head on top of the armor. Like, especially in the
Hulk
banner in the Hulk Buster.
Yeah,
it looked really terrible.
Yeah, it looked a little floaty, and even around the neck of Spider-Man looked a little weird, and Tony's around the neck where
we're starting to see it now, and we have to
at
do
the
something
end,
different.
Banner's head looked just really weird because it was so
it looked
tiny
like it was floating
and floaty in that thing. But dude, I could forgive all of this because we
see all that shit.
We saw Spider-Man in fucking space, and I even love the Iron Spider suit. I said it.
Oh shit!
I said it. I kind of love those arms. That was fucking sick.
It just mystifies me that there's not even like a little bump in his suit where the arms would come out of. They
like
just seem to sprout out of nowhere.
Like it's nanotechnology. This shit comes from anywhere.
It's magic.
Yeah, it's magic.
James Cameron's right. Okay, so
look, speaking of that, I love I love all the magic in this movie. I kind of love when Strange and Thanos were battling.
I was going to say Strange, like this is his coming out.
This is his movie, dude.
I have a big rundown about Strange.
Okay, here we go.
You don't like him?
Here we go.
Here's the rundown.
I know.
Okay, here's my beef with Strange. I love fucking Strange. I love Doctor Strange. But this movie, once again, suffers from writers trying to do things that are obviously to drive the plot forward and not to actually deal with what's going on. And this is a parallel to The Last Jedi. In The Last Jedi, they have a plan to go to this place and whatever. They don't tell Poe Dameron. They don't tell anybody, and it causes everybody to. So now Doctor Strange looks into the futures and sees like 4 billion futures and only one where they win. He knows what to do. Does he tell anyone? No. All right. He tells nobody. All right. And then, in fact, all of these guys have these big high stakes, and all they do is argue with each other instead of share information and get somewhere. They do this obviously because they want you to think that the reason why that Doctor Strange lets Tony live and sacrifices the time stone because he's seen the future and he knows that's the way that it's got to go. So he's got the information. He doesn't tell anybody that. He doesn't prepare anyone. He kind of saves Tony, but he's really not saving Tony. He's really knows the future and he knows that he has to give up the time gem to do that. But you can only infer that if you know that that's how writers write, right? You don't, and so there's a problem. It's that same Last Jedi problem where he knows something, that he knows the way that it's going to go, and he doesn't tell anyone, and then all this arguing ensues that doesn't need to happen. So I think that's really like one of those things that stuck out. I'm like, oh, that's the Last Jedi. They're doing the same thing.
Your point with the Last Jedi. Yes.
I'm going to try to defend it, although I don't know if I can. The only thing I can say is in Doctor Strange's movie, they kind of established that messing with the time continuum is proves to be fatal.
You can't tell people what you know.
So yeah, I think you can't tell people
what's time travel 101.
Okay, and the second thing is that if you have the time stone, you should be able to go back and keep Thanos from getting the first stone in the first place.
You should be able to go back and undo the whole fucking movie.
The time stone is tough.
Yeah, so they should
have a little bit of an easy MacGuffin.
The time stone should have been the first stone that he gets.
But I knew him the minute Vision fucking exploded. I was like, oh, he's just gonna fucking wind us back. He's got the time gem.
Yeah, but I'm saying that time gem because that would have made it just when it just drives me nuts when I'm like, dude, do the time thing. Do the thing with the Ramu. Do that thing again.
Turn it back.
You got it. It's on you. What are you waiting for?
Yeah, that's
I would
comics,
agree. Although I did
comics.
like that he was looking into the future, and when he's like, there's 14.1 million scenarios, and he's like, how many do we win in? One. In the theater I was in, when he goes one, the whole theater's like, oh fuck.
Yeah, but he knows which one it is.
Yeah, so that's why he gives the gem. Thanos has to win to be able. So Nick can. Call
we know that. That's why he gives the gem to.
That's the whole. That's what's going to happen.
Or that's why he gives it to Thanos because Tony is key, obviously.
Yeah. But
Tony needs to stay alive at least.
So that's like where people were shitting on Star Wars: The Last Jedi for doing that. And people are giving this movie a pass, and I'll tell you why. Because there's a precedent for this in the comic books.
Right.
Yep.
Everybody has to die, and then Nebula is the one who puts the Infinity Gauntlet on, and then brings everybody back and brings people back up to before Thanos killed everyone.
I mean, I agree with the comment. Someone said that this is what The Last Jedi was trying to do, but this thing, I believe Infinity War did it a lot better.
Well, if you have a precedent to do it, then it makes sense to do it that way. But
I also think inherently you root for these characters a lot more than you do for the ones in The Last Jedi that you just met in the prior film.
Yeah.
Like you want these characters to stick around.
The only thing that I don't like is that when they decided to start killing people off after he snaps his fingers, that they kill off people that you know are not dying.
It's a little bit manipulative.
And
I'll give you that.
They did it because this is where writing comes in again.
Yeah.
They're trying to make it so only the original Avengers cast survives.
Right, this one.
And that way it's the Avengers movie, not all these other people's movie. And they get to kind of be the heroes in the last movie.
So my theory for the next one is all those people come back and the OG guys actually die. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, everybody knows that now.
Real quick, pre-snap deaths were Heimdall, Loki, Gamora, Vision, and all the Asgardians. Post-snap deaths included Bucky, Black Panther, Groot, Scarlet Witch, Falcon, Mantis, Drax, Peter Quill, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Maria Hill.
Can I talk about that real quick?
Yeah.
A lot of those deaths, I was like, oh fuck! Like it wasn't affecting me that much.
I know which one got you.
Tom Holland, Peter Parker.
Oh
died.
my God! I was like
I know he's not going away, but that was the moment where I was like, all right, Tom Holland. Not bad.
Like it just gave me chills
when he's like, Tony, I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
Oh my God! Like father to son.
For me, I didn't have tears, but I was feeling things.
It gave me fucking chills and goosebumps. I was like, damn.
I agree with every death except for Black Panther. I think.
Why?
Because it takes you out of it.
Yeah, because I know
You
Black
know he's
Panther's
coming.
hot.
Yeah.
He's the biggest thing. And not only that, why all the black guys getting killed?
Wait, he's the
Not
only
in
one.
Baku. Not Okoye.
Baku is
Yeah,
fine.
I'm saying like the guys in the
I
suits
know.
doing this.
That one is like, really? You just made $680 million domestically. There's no
So
way.
even the most casual fan is going to be like, I'm calling bullshit on the Black Panther. Like maybe they should have left that one out for a little more. That's a good point.
The only thing is I would say is we as nerds know, and a jock in my case, know that Avengers Part 2 is coming out next May.
Right.
So we know that that's not happening, but if you didn't know that was not happening, would you still think that?
It's forgivable because you know the nature of the Infinity Gauntlet is that you can do whatever you want when you have it on.
Right.
Whoever's going to don it, which I think is going to be Captain Marvel, is going to don it and bring everyone back to life.
Right.
And that's the way it's going to go.
The Soul Stone's going to ask for a sacrifice.
Oh,
and
for
it's
her?
got to be
And it's
Cap.
got to be the OG Avengers.
Oh, another sacrifice for
If you want
her.
these guys back, you got to trade in someone else.
So maybe it's got to be somebody that you love. Somebody has to be the somebody that you love, right?
Right. And all of those characters love. Oh yeah, that could work.
Damn, that's pretty good.
Groot would probably say I love Rocket, so Rocket's gonna go, and Bucky would say I love Cap, and Cap's gonna go, and all that stuff.
Somebody has a soul for
and
a
Black
soul.
Panther would be like I love Okoye. Okoye's gotta go.
Holy shit.
But
Everyone
I
has
think
to pick someone.
The other point I was making is you can't fully judge this until the next movie comes out. Like, I'm willing to give them the leeway that this is a 2-part movie, even though they separated these, that this is still a 2-part story and the story isn't finished.
It's a complete manipulation to get you, feeling like you've lost all hope for the next movie to kind
I
of.
think it works though in this
It's going
sense.
to be more of a triumph in the end.
You needed that.
And so they're doing it, obviously, they're writing it this way on purpose to set the stage for it. So I can't really begrudge them for doing it. I applaud them in a lot of ways, but I just think that they kind of telegraphed what they were going to do a little too much, so it kind of it lessens the enthusiasm.
The Russo brothers have said
the mystery.
Avengers 4 is going to be longer and bigger and better already than Infinity War.
I mean, I have to give them kudos for ending it with Thanos looking at a sunset.
I love, and the little smile and just his satisfaction. That was amazing. What an ending. He's like, I'm just going to have a beer. Maybe I'll do some gardening.
But
I'm cool
he's
now.
not like completely sad. Like he lost a lot. Even he says it. He's like, I lost.
What did it
everything.
cost? She goes, what did it cost you? And he's like, everything.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Can I get into one thing? I've been positive pretty much. Can I
Okay.
get into one
You want to
thing
get nitpicky? Let's get nitpicky.
Well, no, I'm not getting nitpicky. I'm just having a discussion.
Okay.
This is one of those things where why I don't think it's one of the best MCU films ever is because it has this many characters. It's like it reminded me of like a Game of Thrones episode with like 3 episodes packed into like one.
Yeah.
Where it's so heavy and so much going on from one character, one scene to the next, that it's like it's almost like bursting at the seams where you can't ever just relax.
It's barely holding.
It's barely holding
containing
on
itself,
to like this, like that. All these this juggling act. Like you, at any point, like the balls could just fall and the guy could stop juggling.
I kind of enjoyed that tension throughout the movie, though.
But the second act for me, like upon rewatch, especially, is very slow. Nothing like things are going on, but it's like Thor and Strange are just going to Titan. That's all that's happening.
Yeah.
Thor is trying to build a hammer.
Yeah.
And Cap is taking Vision to Wakanda. Really, that's all that's happening.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing actually like the only thing that's moving is Thanos looking for the things that we all agreed were the most boring parts of the MCU.
Yeah, and another thing is that there was no real plan to do anything. Right? There was just like, we're going to go where Thanos is going to be and we're going to get the glove off of him, which is a terrible plan.
Yeah, the only that's exactly I was trying to figure out what it is, and that's exactly it. Like Thor is building a hammer. That's not all that exciting.
That's at least some kind of plan.
But that's the only plan.
We need a hammer.
Up until Tony's like, we're going to take the fight to him. Everyone's just waiting.
They don't know what to do.
Yeah, so that you don't have that's why Thor has the best arc, because other than that, no one else in the film is moving forward. They're just sitting there waiting for things to happen. Like they're taking Vision to Wakanda, and waiting.
Well, they're trying to get that. They want to separate.
Well, they're getting the stone out,
yeah.
but what are they? They're not proactive and like let's fucking get
defense
Thanos.
positions. Yeah,
it's a defensive movie.
I love Tony and Doctor Strange butting heads, their egos, like him calling him a douchebag. And he's like,
they should have had a goatee off.
They should have had it go. They almost look the same. And then you think about this is two Sherlock Holmes facing off with each other.
Did your head even fit into that home?
That's so great. That was a great line. But it was a little confusing. But I did like where,
I didn't think it was. What was confusing?
No,
I didn't think that was confusing.
I don't think there's a reason for them to argue. First of all,
that's kind of what was my point. Is Strange?
I think they're both huge ego maniacs.
Yes, but there's no plan. Strange is like, we should hide this stone. Well, first Tony's like, we should hide the stone, and then he's like, no, let's bait him with the stone. Like, which one is it? They kind of flip flop really quickly for no reason.
Yeah,
I just like Tony. I did going back to final. I like that Tony like keeps pushing him by like using like doctor lines on him.
Yeah, what did he say?
I forget the exact lines, but he's like, "Is that your prognosis or something like that?"
Doctor, do you concur? Doctor,
do you concur? Yeah, I was like, "Oh, okay."
It's like, are you moving your hair at the moment? He's like,
there is some snappy stuff going in there.
There's clever lines going on between them.
I love how Tony calls them wizards, and then he's like,
"You're embarrassing me in front of your wizards.
You're embarrassing me in front of the wizards." Like that with Thor calling a rabbit a tree.
That was pretty funny.
And Tony's like, "Wizards, of course it's wizards." Man, there's so much good stuff.
I remember when we reviewed Civil War, you were like, you had a problem with Peter not knowing the name to Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, you know what? I'm over it.
Are you over it? Because he went over. Yeah. He made an Aliens reference.
No, I'm over it. And I like the callback to the joke, and again using pop culture. And he's like,
I actually liked it. I was like, how are they going to fucking get Ebony Maw?
Blow him out the fucking head.
Blow him out the thing like Aliens.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's actually kind of good.
If you make one more pop culture reference, I'm benching you. He's getting annoyed. That was really good. I love that Rocket. I love the callback to the Rocket joke where he loves to collect prosthetic parts. He's all about eyes and arms.
I'm gonna get that arm.
Yeah, he's like, I'm getting that arm. I'm gonna get that arm. That's fucking great. Yo, I liked. Let's talk about the action a little bit because I like some of the pairings of the action, like seeing Black Widow and Okoye and Scarlet Witch fight Proxima Midnight. I was like, oh, this is going to be badass. But Ruggs, I know you have a little bit of criticism of how the Russo brothers filmed some of this action this time around.
Well, they toned down the shaky cam, but I feel like that there was a lot of like cropped shots where they could have like moved it a little bit back so you could see a little bit more. I have to watch it again. But I didn't feel that same sense of like kineticness that I did in some of the fight scenes. I'm talking about the fight scenes with the guy with the bow staff. I don't know what his name is.
Oh man.
And Proxima Midnight.
Corvus Glaive, her husband.
Yeah.
They're married.
When they were fighting, when they were trying to get the Vision in the beginning, in the train station and Cap shows up, I felt that fight scene was very cropped in.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
But then you had these epic. What'd you think of the epic fight scene? Like that whole Wakanda shit. Like when those things came underground. First of all, with all the Outriders, I was like, "Holy fuck! Look at these fucking mindless beasts."
The third act I thought was very epic. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think I had major problems with that. I just think that after seeing like the Russo brothers do Captain America in action so great and all these moves were so like. I mean, even they were shaky cam in Civil War.
Yeah.
But that was like you're following Black Widow through alleys and shit, and it made sense. Here, it didn't make sense. There wasn't that forward thrust motion where they were following.
The problem may be that they were fighting, CG characters instead of actual,
and they needed to do that to kind of blur the line of reality.
Possibly.
Those monsters. I mean, I think they're Outriders.
Oh yeah.
Some of them, sometimes they look good, sometimes they kind of look bad.
I did like how they were just like mindless and they had one thing and they were just you can kill it. She's like, they're killing themselves. Like they didn't give a fuck.
Oh, I loved Proxima Midnight's line where they were like,
we have blood to spare.
Black Panther's like, like you are in Wakanda now. All you will have is blood or whatever. Like all that we shed is blood. And she's like, we have blood to spare.
Yes.
And then you see these things coming out.
These fucking things are just like,
I mean, the part where, when they're like, they're going to circle, like they're going to surround us and Black Panther's like, well, Cap's like, we got to keep them in front. And Black Panther's like, open the A-17 or whatever.
They did the hot gates from 300 right there.
Yeah, and you just see everyone running, and you see Black Panther and Cap
and
sprinting
fucking
ahead.
running so fast.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Like, oh, this is fucking awesome.
Fucking sick. And then, right when they're overcome, Thor comes in for that save is such a great fucking moment.
So good.
So let's talk about best use of Peter Dinklage ever. For me, he finally sees himself as like a giant on screen. Like, do you think he ever thought he would see himself as a huge giant? I love it. I think it's so clever.
It was clever. Yeah.
It's good. He's again a new character they're trying to introduce into a movie full of 70
a million
characters.
Yeah.
So it's tough to like really invest, but he was all right.
No, and I love Groot's sacrifice of his arm to put it together. That was also fucking great.
He needs the hammer.
Tree, help me find the handle. And I did also like. I felt like Bucky was a little shortchanged. Like, I thought he was gonna have
Bucky
a lot more to do.
So was War Machine.
I think Black Widow, War Machine, Bucky, they are all underused.
But again, this is a movie about Thanos. We know all these characters,
right?
And we need time for the movie to get to know Thanos.
It's an event comic. If you think of it as an event comic,
that's exactly what it is.
Then
that's why I think it works. It's so well.
It's fine because she's gonna get her doing the next movie. What they did is they did exactly what Thanos wanted to do. They thinned the herd. Yeah. We have time to enjoy everything in the next movie.
You're going to get one last hurrah with the OG Avengers before they have to go, and they probably figure that all these new characters are going to be here for the next 5 to 10 years. So let them get their shine.
That's going to be said.
I don't really know how else you can write this movie and make it good.
No, and you said
it's so ambitious. Like in terms of overall structure.
Yeah. I mean, I think
there's little things you can definitely change.
There's things you can change to tighten it up a little bit and to kind of not have the same problems that Last Jedi had with the I know everything but not telling you anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, overall, I think the point of this movie was to get all of these big groups into one movie successfully and kind of emulate what happens in like Marvel crossover stories where there's like tons of comics involved and tons of characters involved, and just to get the feeling of what that would be to read without reading it.
Yes, I completely agree.
I mean, Anthony, I think you said it in your instant reaction, like the sheer ambition and accomplishment. This movie has something that has never been done and was inconceivable. Like that alone just sets this apart. Like this is a new era for these movies after watching them pull this off. And I think they pull it off very well.
And I don't think you can fully judge it until the next one comes out.
No, you can't. It's part one.
Yeah, if the ending kind of brings together everything and it's a huge triumph, I think that this as the middle piece of where the Empire Strikes Back of the story.
And then if they ended like Return of the Jedi, like they pulled off the Empire Strikes Back. Now they got to pull off Return of the Jedi. Did you like Stan Lee's cameo? He looked pretty good as the bus driver.
But isn't Return of the Jedi the way they pulled that off make Empire Strikes Back better? Isn't that the prevailing consensus?
Yeah, a little bit, because
like if they didn't stick the landing there, Empire Strikes Back's not as good either.
Right.
Correct.
And that's what I'm thinking for this too. Is like they have to stick the landing on this. Otherwise, if the next film kind of is like, if the next film's kind of like this, then that's not acceptable.
How do you top this though? Is my other question.
But I don't think you're not. I don't think you're trying to top it. You almost have to go smaller.
Yeah.
You mean in scale?
Not scale, but in terms
story.
of character.
Yeah.
There's so much. There's so many there's characters that just don't get much love or any they're just shortchanged.
But this is the part that I have a trouble with. All right, at this point in the story, Thanos did what he wanted to do.
Yeah,
right.
Story's over.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do? So the point is the driving factor is to try and undo what Thanos did.
I do love that, even though that's the
next
thing.
The only where to go with the story.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love that it's a cliffhanger, but also has a sense of closure as a standalone itself. Like it has an ending, and you're like, now what the fuck? Obviously,
they have to get the Infinity Gauntlet from Thanos.
Yes. So
the thing is, the Infinity Gauntlet. By the end of it, it's
destroyed.
Busted.
But there's another one. Remember in Eitree's fucking place on that star, Verdelier, whatever it's called, all these new fucking planets. There was another one. Nevedalier. There was another one sitting there. I feel like that's going to come into play.
I feel like, actually, I don't think that's going to be the case. Yeah. I think each of the OG Avengers is going to have to go into each of the stones.
Go into the stones? Mm-hmm. The files are in the computer?
Because there's shots, this is already kind of like, I already know too much, but there's shots of them filming Avengers 4 with Cap in the old costume.
Right.
Like traveling in time.
in the comics, like, isn't don't they go into the
There's a soul world.
stone?
There's a world in the soul stone.
And Adam Warlock's there.
Yep.
And that's where he comes into play.
Yeah,
Well,
so
then you can also do the time stone and just go
and
back
reverse
in time.
it. So
and
look,
reverse.
let's hypothesize. Let's extrapolate. Here's what we're getting next. Ant-Man and the Wasp takes place right after Civil War. It will involve Ant-Man and the Wasp going into the microcosm quantum realm to find the original Janet Van Dyne, played by Michelle Pfeiffer. Okay.
You know how they explain why he's gone?
Oh, yeah. How about that throwaway line? That was fucking ridiculous with Hawkeye and Ant-Man.
No, I'm saying for this.
Yeah.
For Ant-Man. Remember they were like when you get to the subatomic?
Yes.
It's where the laws of space and time don't apply?
Yes.
So if he's at that level, then none of this applies to him.
Oh, he wouldn't have gotten killed.
Because the
He's
laws
not
of space
in
and time
reality,
aren't there. He's not in
technically.
reality.
Yeah.
He's not there
Yeah.
anymore.
What did you think about the throw? Like, now we know why there was no Hawkeye in the trailer. He's not in the fucking movie. The throwaway line, it was like, where's Clint and Scott? And something about something, the Accords have him sign line, something.
It was like more like they were on house arrest and they worked out. It's like
Which
they both have families.
I was okay with, actually. There's enough fucking people in this
I don't
movie.
care.
Yeah. There was enough fucking people in this movie.
I don't understand the obsession with Hawkeye.
I know.
His character.
He's an original Avenger, not in the Avengers movie.
He's an OG. I mean, I think the next movie, maybe, and did he survive the snap of the fingers? Who knows? How many people we don't know have disappeared? Hopefully the next movie brings him back in for some closure. But then after that, we have Captain Marvel, where Nick Fury signals
90s.
her. That plays in the 90s with Clark Gregg, Phil
That's
Coulson.
the post-credit scene. Nick Fury and Maria Hill both disappear.
So I wonder how
Nick
many
Fury
people
tries to say motherfucker.
Yeah, he goes motherfucker, and I wonder how many people didn't understand the post-credit scene. I love that it's a pager from the 90s.
I walked out of the theater yesterday, and the one guy goes, "Oh, that's awesome! I can't wait till Wonder Woman's in the next Avengers." I'm like,
that's funny.
No, I'm not going to correct you. I'll let you think Wonder Woman's in the next one.
because it kind of had a W thing on it. I don't know.
I think he just saw the star with he thought it was like red, white, and blue.
Yeah. Oh, this is. I mean, a lot of people could be googling shit.
It's Wonder Woman's gold, blue, and red, and that passable.
So in that movie, this is where Nick Fury finally discovers superheroes. Captain Marvel being the first one. She's half Kree. There is a Skrull-Kree war. What's his name is playing Marvel, Jude Law. And will that tie? So there's a lot that they can tie into the fourth movie.
There better be a good fucking reason that Nick Fury decides now to wait to call Captain Marvel.
I hope we find out in this movie why.
Wouldn't you have called her in the first Avengers?
Well, they weren't planning on making a Captain Marvel movie in the first Avengers.
I know.
Convenient, isn't it?
But I like how they kind of retrofitted this in now that they're actually making
They
this
have
movie.
to have a good reason for this. I don't know why. You would never even mention it. It just doesn't make sense.
Well,
it better be a really
my
good
one
fucking
thought
reason.
was, she's the last resort call, like, so she has to come
But
down
how does
and
Nick
find.
Fury at that point think, like, he's just driving?
I know.
And he's like, why is
He's
that at
this
that point
is
the last
fucked up.
resort?
Right. Yeah. How does he know what the fuck? I mean, they mentioned they noticed these things over Wakanda, but then look, when motherfuckers start disintegrating in front of your eyes, it's probably a bad sign. You probably want to hit that red fucking panic button.
How does he know she didn't disintegrate?
Well, she's probably not on the planet, but he doesn't know.
It's half
But he
of the
doesn't know.
universe.
But he doesn't know that either.
I know.
This is what I would do. If I was the writers of this, is that Nick Fury meets Captain Marvel, and after she saves the world, she goes off into space, and they have no idea how to contact her.
Right.
And that thing is just it sends a signal. He doesn't know if it's going to get anywhere. He doesn't know how to get her back. They tried, but they've called her and she's never answered. So maybe
he's pressed that before, you think?
Maybe wherever she is, everybody's dying, and she's like, "Oh, I better go and check this out."
And will one of them be a Skrull in Avengers 4, based on what we find out in Captain Marvel?
Skrull.
Shapeshifter.
That's another plot that I don't think they should go into right now.
No, they should leave it self-contained.
So they've been dropping a couple of names of what they're looking at in Phase 4, and it's things like the Eternals, Moon Knight, Adam Warlock, possibly Nova. That's the other thing. We saw all of Kandar. Was it Kandar?
Xandar.
Xandar completely destroyed off screen.
Yeah, it wasn't done yet.
Well,
that's messed up. Maybe we'll go back and see what happens.
Because no one cares.
No one cares about Xandar.
You don't need to explain it. Like, grabbing 6 stones. You don't need to explain
All
every
of them?
time how
Right.
he gets
Yes.
the fucking
Yeah.
stone.
So do you think Adam Warlock's going to come into play in the next movie because they did that tease in Guardians 2?
Possibly.
Well, if you read what James Gunn said, he's saving Adam Warlock for Guardians 3. But who knows?
They also,
I had no idea Red Skull would be in this movie.
right.
They did
That
a really good
is
job
an
with that.
amazing reveal. They also been talking about a Black Widow solo movie that may be a prequel, and may feature Bucky in it or something. So I don't think any of these Fox characters, we're not going to see this for a
Marvel has
long
already
time.
said they're not doing Comic-Con this year.
That was the other big thing. Yes, they're skipping Hall H.
Shit.
They don't want to release anything until Avengers 4 comes out, which is smart.
This is very smart. So this is like, we're going to have to wait a year for our Marvel announcements of what's next. It's amazing. They want this to breathe. They want this all to be about these 2 movies and the end of this kind of 22 movie story arc to have a hard close. And this is great. So Marvel skipping Hall H this year is nuts. Is nuts. Maybe Warner Brothers steps in and brings something. But here's my other question. Do you think fucking the Warner Brothers and DC are just shitting in their pants over there? They're like, why are we even bothering to try to make superhero movies? We should just fucking stop or
Warner
give it a
who?
few years.
D who? Like,
Yeah,
what are we talking about?
I can't imagine what's going through their heads. They're just like, holy shit, fuck me in the ass. What are we doing?
I mean, it's one of those things where you can't. They should have followed the Marvel formula.
They
and
just should have
individual
copied them.
character movies.
Yes,
because this movie only works like if you take away all these of individual character movies, and this is the movie that comes out.
Yeah,
this movie's not that great.
Right.
Yeah.
It's literally banking on the fact that you've seen the 18 movies prior.
Yeah. And I mean,
that's why I disagreed with you, Imran, when you were like, you could bring a new fan in here. I don't think you can.
I mean, I think the 10 years, the awareness in the 10 years, to an extent, you would get some of it, but no, you wouldn't nearly get as much enjoyment. But they've given audiences 10 years to get on board and to get track with them.
That's the thing. They're banking on 10 years of knowledge of you loving these characters.
And I never thought we would see a movie like this, like at this scale, to where you need to know all this shit going in. I'm just amazed they pull it off. There's so much more we could talk about. I'm sure in the following weeks we'll be discussing this thing ad nauseum.
One more thing.
Let's wrap up. Final thoughts.
We did the now that we've seen the film.
Yeah.
What movies do you think a fan should watch prior to watching this?
Oh shit! So you need to watch fucking
Captain America,
the first Avenger now.
Yeah.
You got to watch Black Panther. You got to watch Doctor Strange, I think.
Yeah.
You got to watch Guardians. You almost have to watch Thor: The Dark World.
You got to watch Civil War. You got to watch Thor: The Dark World?
Yeah, because the fucking ether, the red is in there.
Oh, fuck.
You got to watch
See,
Civil
that's what
War.
I'm saying with
Yes,
this movie.
You have to watch all of these. What else? That's
You
a
have
good
to at least
question.
watch half of the movies that they put out.
Yeah. That's a good question.
At least
Civil
6.
War. You got to watch Ragnarok.
You got to watch Ragnarok. Because that ties in a lot.
Leads right into the movie.
Right. It starts right at the end of fucking Ragnarok. So unbelievable shared universe that just continues to demolish everything.
It's quite an accomplishment.
Quite an accomplishment, man. They did not disappoint. Comes down to it, they did not disappoint. All right, let's rank this bitch and give it a score. However you want to do
Final thoughts.
it. And final thoughts. And I got one piece of email from Wes Cranford from Australia.
All right, so Imran, you're going to obviously
Look,
give
let
the
me
high
just
score,
start and get it out of the way. Right now, it may change after I think about the other MCU movies, and when we eventually rank all these movies, it may change. Right now, I can't help but give this like a fucking 9, maybe even 9.5. And it's like,
good for you.
It's definitely top 5, may even be number 1 or 2, but it's easily top 5 Marvel MCU movies for me right now.
Easily top.
Yes, but that's how I feel right now after watching the movie twice yesterday.
Who's
Anthony?
next? Me? Okay. I don't have it in my top 5. I don't know if I'd have it in my. I don't know if I'd have it in my top 10.
What the fuck?
Somebody touch my spaghetti!
I don't know. I really have to think about it. To me, the movie, it's not good if you don't bank on the fact that you love these characters. But overall, the fact, like I said, that it's an accomplishment and that it's so enjoyable, the little character moments and the fact that you're seeing all this come together, I would go like a 7 out of 10.
All right.
I think without me loving the previous MCU films, I would drop this all the way down to like a 4.
Damn.
Whoa.
Dude, a 4 is like, this is not the clusterfuck a 4 would be. This movie could easily have been a clusterfuck mess.
Wow, Anthony.
That's exactly why I'm saying
But
it's
it's
a 7.
not. Okay.
But when you
I like this.
when you analyze, like going back, when you look at what the plot really is, it's chasing things that don't fucking matter and can't be explained. Like what characters get arcs other than Thanos?
And even that was weak at best.
Yeah. So I mean, when you look at it critically like that, it's really not. It's just an okay. It's just
I
okay
think
film.
that you have to judge it on.
But that's not how you can judge it overall.
Yeah, you have to judge it on the fact of the accomplishment of the spectacle and so you're kind of like, on one hand, you want to criticize it like a real movie, like you should, but then you have to take all this other stuff into account. So it's weird.
There's so many. You can't. This movie doesn't exist in a vacuum. You have to factor in the context of when it's come out.
It is kind of hard to judge it like that out of.
So it's not in your top 10, and you're giving it like a 7. Something.
I would say it might be in my top 10, but I'd have to really think about it. Definitely not my top 5.
Rugs, lean in and give me your rank.
Well, I find that Anthony pretty much rated it the same way I would. It would probably edge into the top 10 for me. I'd probably be somewhere in the top 10 because just the theatrics of it and how great the lines are and how all that stuff. I don't know how long it's going to play. It's going to be fresh in my mind. Usually the thing that keeps me to a movie is the action.
Yeah.
And, just like the drama of the story. And so this had enough of it. I might want to see a lot of scenes again. We'll see. I think that the problem with me with this movie is it basically you have to look at it as the accomplishment of what I just said before, of like putting all this together, making this gigantic piece with all of these pieces kind of trying to fit into this puzzle. And they successfully did that. And they left you in this crazy cliffhanger that makes you want to see more what happens. It's manipulative. So it's great in that way. But as a film, does it have flaws? Yes, it does. Does it stick the landing perfectly? Does it like Anthony said, does it nail it? I think there are some weak parts to it. So I'm going to say what Anthony said. I'm going to agree with him for the first time, I think, ever in history and say 7.
Oh, shit. 7
All right.
from Rugs. Look,
I mean, I might be inclined to give it a 7.5, but I'll stay conservative. Maybe I'll say 7.5. I liked it a little bit better than Anthony.
Your criticisms are valid. I get it, but I can't
it's just so cool of a movie to watch.
The sheer enjoyment I had from this, the fact that it was not a clusterfuck, negates all. I don't care. It's about magic stones. I love the fucking magic stones. I get what they do. I even love that moment where Thanos ribboned up Mantis and cubed up Drax. That was disturbing and trippy as fuck.
Yeah, but then
right
it
out of the
was
comic.
undone. And then it's undone.
It's because he left, but it was right out of the comic books. He's just fucking with them. He's just fucking with them.
Let me
a lot
say
of
this.
people thought they were dead at that moment.
Let me just say this. Just because I gave it, first off, 7 is still not a bad score.
No.
Second, I am more likely to defend this film than I am to be like, oh no, you're wrong. This movie sucks.
Yeah,
it's not you can't really shit on it.
I'm more likely. If someone's super enthusiastic about this film, I'm like, yeah, you should love it. Like I love it too. I'm pumped.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not like if you like hate on this film, I will probably be more likely to be like, no, this is why it's good.
If you're a DC asshole that's hating on this film just to hate on it, then you're a douchebag.
Right.
But I don't have a hate for this movie at all. I feel like that there's just some things that just bug me when I see writing that's done to kind of service a plot that defies logic. Then I have to point it out. That's just what I do. I just point out obvious flaws in plots or even agreeing with James Cameron when he's saying in an art. Now he's had a whole long diatribe about these movies, and they just took one little thing that he said,
right?
That people are going to get sick of people because of their gonadal males with no families. I'm like, that's not what he's saying. He's talking about science in movies and how we're losing a basis of science at all in these things, and we're just kind of going along and at some point you're going to be like, what are you even watching? Just like, is there anything to be learned from this?
But
or
the reason why
rules?
I can let that pass is because of comic books, man. It's science and magic and the unbelievable, and that's why you love the genre and the characters and why they can do what they do. Don't worry, James Cameron. We will go watch Avatar 2, 3, 4,
Maybe
5,
we
6,
won't.
7.
Like no one's really looking for Avatar.
I think he's afraid that by the time the fucking movie comes out, everyone's going to be so sick of this shit that it's not going to do nothing.
Actually, speaking of Avatar, there's one theory on the net, or somewhere I heard might have been a podcast, where that is the reason why they killed Gamora, is because she's going to be tied up.
She is in that, isn't she?
In Avatar for the next 5 to 10 years.
Oh shit! I forgot she was in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the only way that I'm like, oh, maybe they did kill Gamora.
She's done pre-snap. You saw her body. You clearly saw her body.
It's just one thing when an old guy says something, all the young dudes on Twitter think that they know shit.
Yeah, that's true.
And when you're a fucking old guy that made like
this is
much
James Cameron,
all of
yes,
the fucking
yes.
all of the fucking touchstones of sci-fi, intelligent sci-fi. You argue with him?
We wouldn't
on.
have the MCU if it wasn't for him doing Terminator and everything he's done.
Suck a dick, dudes on Twitter.
So he kind of does that point. Yeah, I have one more thing too. So many things
because there's so much to talk about. But it's my optimism about this film that makes me like it even more. Like I'm still optimistic about this.
Yeah.
Like I don't want you to get the wrong idea, even though I don't have it. Like the Marvel's made better films. I'm not down on this film.
Yeah,
I'm probably going to see it a third time in the theater. It's good. It's good. I really was enjoying everything in front of me. It just when I step back and I think about it critically, I'm just like, there's things there that you need to point out.
You know, the tricky thing Marvel has to do is each movie has to top the last fucking movie.
He's coming to the dark side, Imran.
Each movie has to be the best movie.
He was like you. He was pumped about everything. Now he's coming over to the rug boy side.
Boy.
I just can't shake the feeling when I didn't walk out of this the same way like I walked out of Black Panther. I was like, fuck yeah.
But this
that
isn't
really tackled things.
Yeah.
Where this one, I mean, and this is, but then I look at it through the lens of this isn't trying to be Black Panther.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
But that still doesn't make.
It's got a whole host of other problems to deal with in Black Panther.
Right. So, but that still doesn't make it, in my opinion, a better film. Like it doesn't. Black Panther's a better film because it's smaller.
Yeah.
True. And this isn't like a fuck yeah ending either. Like it's meant to be.
The ending, I was like, yes, you have to end it this way.
And they did.
The heroes have to lose for once.
You have to end it conveniently so all the original Avengers are untouched.
that too.
So like those things you point out. You point those things.
So
out.
here's speaking of which, here's who's still alive: Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, Nebula, Thor, Rocket, Black Widow, Rhodey. Bruce Banner, Okoye, and M'Baku. That's all.
I have to say,
that's all that's left.
I audibly gasped when Tony got stabbed by Thanos.
I know. I thought he was done too. I was like, "Oh fuck, they're doing it now," and they did
because it's the queuing it up too. He's like, "You've earned my respect, Stark."
And I love that line where he's like, "I hope they remember you after you're
knowledge
gone."
Knowledge isn't the only thing.
Yes,
I'm the only person. Or what do you say?
Like something like we both have knowledge. Knowledge is the only curse, the same curse we both have, or something.
Yeah.
So
it's like, you know me.
Yeah. He's like, oh, that was weird.
I like that he gives Stark dap. Like,
yeah, he's like, oh, I know. He's like, yeah, it's Stark. He's like, oh, you know me. I was like, that's weird. He knows him.
I mean, you gotta say Brolin killed it.
Brolin did kill it, and I hope he gets some kind of recognition for this role. I don't know how you parse it. They won't, because it's a fucking comic book fucking superhero movie. So cool.
The mocap is still it's not a 1-to-1.
No.
It's still an animator.
Yeah, it's a
using
bunch
the
of people
cues off of Josh Brolin's face to do that.
Bunch
it's
of people.
Still an animator doing something.
But I could see why Brolin said he enjoyed playing Thanos over Cable, even without seeing Deadpool. It makes a lot of sense.
There's way more depth than I think Cable has.
Yes. So questionable people again, who we don't know if they disappeared or not, are obviously Hawkeye, Ant-Man, the Wasp, Hank Pym, and we don't know if they could be gone. I don't know. Yeah. What and also what do we think Shuri, Pepper Potts, and Wong made it?
I think if they don't show them disappearing,
doesn't matter.
And I don't think it matters
because everyone
doesn't matter because the whole movie's going to be the reverse.
It just got to reverse everything.
They're not really going to. Pepper Potts is not going to be central to. Maybe Wong will be important.
I love where he's like, Wong, you're invited to my wedding. After he saves him.
Well, here's one question. I don't think they will, but if they do the time thing and everyone ends up okay, that's the only way that this is disappointing, right? It's like people have to still die.
Yeah.
In your guys' opinion.
You mean the people post-snap people? Maybe not all of them come back.
No, if they undo it, they undo everybody.
I'm saying like if they undo it to the point where everything's like that'd be the only big failure. So if they undo it to the point where all the characters that died, including before Snap, live and everyone lives happily ever after.
No.
People still got to die, right?
They have to kill. This is all set up to bring those post-snap deaths back and kill the OGs. After having them survive, kill some of the OGs.
Yeah.
I think what's going to happen is they're going to bring everybody back, but then once the Infinity Gauntlet is destroyed, then there'll be a couple of deaths.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that because I can already see the haters on the internet being like, they're just going to use the time stone and bring everyone back.
Yeah.
No one's actually dead.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they did a good job of kind of flipping it around, and I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to give you something unexpected in the next one. The one thing that did kind of bother me, and I'll get to the email after this. Elizabeth Olsen, are you doing an accent or not?
Not anymore.
Sometimes it's there though, and sometimes it's not.
She's just completely ditched.
Like what? Just why? Why even do it? Just why did you even do it in the first place?
I just don't even know why she's Scarlet Witch. It's not. She's Scarlet Witch in name only.
It's a different. It's a way different character.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I thought you had an
enjoy
accent.
her in Vision though.
Yeah, no, that's
I don't even know what her powers do.
She's
she
magic.
moves
It's
things,
fucking
and then
magic.
she's the most powerful one in the world. I don't know.
This is red magic. I did like their romance and their relationship
their romance.
was really. And then, dude, Thanos just scooping the fucking thing out of his forehead was very jarring. I was like, holy fuck. He just scooped it out of his head. And then he goes white and gray. I kind of liked how all the color went away. Because, I think that's his costume in West Coast Avengers. Vision had, a white costume.
Throwback to that.
Okay, I got one email from our buddy Wes Cranford from down under Australia. He says, drunk thoughts from Wes. Okay, I've heard your thoughts on Infinity War, so I'm going to wade in. This movie was great. They made a 2-part movie, but it stands on its own. A beginning, middle, and ending. Wow. And with a cliffhanger. Thanos was brilliant, a villain with heart. Did you notice they changed his skin color from red to blue? Now this movie really has family. It's all about connections. Tony not able to call Steve. Thanos killing his daughter. Gamora not being able to sacrifice her sister. Wonderful emotion throughout. Rug Boy, I did not notice bad CGI, as I trust your input and will look again, but you are incorrect about Strange giving up Stone. Remember, he saw the winning future, so he made an intelligent choice, not an emotional one. He stated he would sacrifice any of them for the Time Stone, so if he gives it up for Stark, whom he doesn't like, it's for a reason.
I said that.
Yeah. Anthony, I know you like this film, but I think your expectations did you in. Nothing and no one ever meets our expectations. Best to let them go. I try to approach everything from the eyes of a child. Like it. Like Imran. You can learn.
Oh, God.
You can learn from him. Imran, we are on the same page. How cool was that first scene where they set the tone and Hulk got his ass kicked? Now he won't come back, which makes it interesting because, like Superman, he is too powerful, and that's boring.
Wrong.
They killed Loki. No, love that villain. So much more to discuss. First time ever. I want to be on the show to talk about a movie with you three. Be interesting to see how they bring it all back and tweak the MCU. You have to admit it did not play out like we thought, huh? Wish I could meet up with the nation over drinks and talk shit. Well, that's my ridiculously long email. Love you guys. Peace, Wes.
Talking nerd.
Thanks for writing in, Wes.
I know there's been a lot of talk on the Nation, Talking Nerd Nation on Facebook about when to start talking about stuff.
What do you want to do?
Originally, I was like, let's wait till next Monday, but I think after we release this episode, it's fine to talk about stuff.
Or I'll throw up a spoiler thread specific for spoilers.
Yeah, but even if you
you're gonna
glance
see
at a spoiler thread, you're going to see it.
But it's a closed group.
So I would say if you haven't, if you're on the Nation and you're listening to this episode and you don't want to be spoiled, don't look at the Nation until after you see it after this weekend.
I agree. Once this show is out, that's it.
Once the show is out, I feel like it's fair game because people can bring up stuff that we talked about on the show.
Yeah.
If you listen to it, that means you saw it.
Obviously.
Right?
So
yeah.
Just be
but
respectful.
If you haven't seen it, I'm sorry. Just don't avoid the Nation.
Yes. You may want to not go to the group until you've seen the movie. We can't.
I was originally on the same page with someone where they were like, not till next Monday. But I was like, wait, that's too fucking
I was going to
long.
just give it a weekend. And I was like,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
a
not
fucking
with you.
open
The
game
weekend.
now. Yeah.
Weekend after the weekend, you should be able to talk about it.
Hey, look, if you don't go watch the movie. You don't want to get spoiled? Go fucking see it right now. Oh, well, if you're listening to this, you already saw it. So why am I telling you? This is ridiculous. Okay, gang, we're gonna wrap it
Yes,
up.
it wasn't my expectations.
No,
just so you know.
yes, yeah.
I don't think my expectations clouded my judgment.
Yeah. I don't think my expectations ever cloud my judgment. It's just, is there problems with the movie that are glaring, that stick out enough for you to notice them? If you want to sit there and not acknowledge them, then that's your decision. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, look, all your criticisms are completely valid because I can see all those, but right now, for me, I can forgive all of that because holy shit.
Yeah, it's like when you start
Fucking
dating
love-
a chick.
Yes,
and then-
we are in
and
the
then
early
you
stages.
notice something weird about her, but you just, she's got a good personality, so you go along.
She has an extra toe. Oh, I never
Yeah.
noticed that. I don't know how I feel about that. We've been dating for a while now.
I'll say it's my enthusiasm for these films that's covering up a lot of the things I didn't like.
For me, when they delivered what they needed to deliver for me,
I would agree
wholeheartedly without fucking it up, without making it a clusterfuck. So could have been.
It's an accomplishment, man.
It's an amazing accomplishment. This is something that's never been done in cinema, and holy shit, Kevin Feige, all you guys, everybody.
Yeah, I've asked this question, but I still can't think of a film that's ever been done like this.
There is not another movie like this. I don't think so.
It's definitely a landmark film in what they tried to do.
I just hope this isn't like the peak of Marvel. Like, will they be able to keep this consistent quality? And how did they make it bigger? How do they top this moving in the next phase, in the next 5-10 years?
Do you think it might be confusing for the casual fan because this movie has all been about the marketing for this movie has all been about how this is the end, this is it, this is the one. And now you're going to release a trailer in like 3 or 4 months for the next Avengers film.
Look, I'll tell you, in my 7:30 showing,
does the well run dry when you cry wolf that much?
It may turn off some people because at my 7:30 showing, there were people that were gasping in the post snap deaths, like they were buying it, And the nerds like us, you take it with a grain of salt. We know what's going on, but there was fucking people who were crying.
Shudder.
Yes, people were like, no, like they were gasping when these people started dissipating. And so I think it's a success. The movie makes them do that.
Wanted to leave immediately after the movie was
like
over.
everyone, like it was like you were mourning when the credits rolled. Like everyone was quiet.
But you can only cheat death so many times before the casual fan is like, okay, death doesn't mean anything.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is the stakes really that high when you know that you could just throw an Infinity Gauntlet on and set everything
but I still
back?
felt the stakes were really high in this movie. Like you felt the stakes.
I felt it too.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, when does it not start to
I'll
feel
tell you
good?
when the stakes were really, really high. When there's no one left to challenge Thanos anymore. Yeah. But there still is people alive.
Yeah.
So
half of
you
them.
know that, and then you got the MacGuffin at the end where you got some new hero that you've never seen before that has probably unmatched power.
Who is the most powerful being in the universe, in the Marvel universe. She's the only one that's going to be able to take him down. So we'll see what happened. Ruggs, where can the listener find you and tell you whether they agreed or disagreed with you about your thoughts?
No one's going to do that. You can find me on Twitter at ReallyRugBoy. Come by, say hello, tell me that I don't know shit, like James Cameron.
Check the show notes for everything we talk about, listener, and tell a friend. Spread the geekery. We would appreciate. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
We'll check you next time.
I'm pumped.
Yeah, me too.